Hey, hey, hey. Hey, Jody, Miss Tom, and Dorothy. It started getting hot in here. It's getting hot in here. Farrakhan. Oh, yes, indeed. Oh, yes, indeed. He went there, y'all. He went there.
Hurtful, but a Jew, Rothschild, loaned money to Adolf Hitler, a Jew, Rothschild. God damn it, you better not open your mouth to call me no anti-Semite.
Say what now? This how we started?
Rothschild and Paul Warburg loaned money to Hitler. Hitler killed little Jews while Rothschild and Warburg stayed in the finest hotels in Europe.
How they do that?
But damn it, if you can't call Rothschild anti-Semitic and Warburg an anti-Semite,
he went there.
Don't you
he
open
went there.
your mouth against me.
Oh, you watch what you say. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. That's how we starting, AunTeaFee?
Hurtful, but a Jew, Rothschild, loaned money to Adolf Hitler.
To who?
A Jew, Rothschild. God damn it, you better not open your mouth.
Did he say God damn it? What?
Rothschild and Paul Warburg loaned money to Hitler.
Tell it.
Killed little Jews while Rothschild and Warburg stayed in the finest hotels in Europe.
You lying to me. You lying to me.
Damn it, if you can't call Rothschild anti-Semitic and Warburg an anti-Semite, then don't you open your mouth against me.
Oh, so they picking and choosing. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. They picking and choosing who they say is anti-Semitic, Semonite, Kryptonite. Louis Farrakhan say you better be equal. You better come with some equality with that. Why y'all want to call people names and stuff? Oh my God. Hey, y'all, I'm back. I mean, it just started getting good, and it was just like, Lord, it's just so much. I hear out there another.
The president also knows what Israel wants, Israel gets.
What?
To act otherwise is political suicide. The mass media, founded and controlled primarily by Jews, manipulates the spigot of information out of which Heartland America drinks. The message of this contaminated
So they playing in our face.
You criticize Israel, you are anti-Semitic. Be safe. Keep your head down, or you are fair game for being knocked off by the Zionist shooting gallery.
Oh, wow.
As a result, our president and elected officials are slaves to political correctness when it comes to Jews and Israel. They cannot seriously criticize Israel, especially as the source of Mideast strife and terrorism. They cannot suggest an end of aid to Israel. They cannot even protest Zionist control of Congress.
Hello, I'm Ted Pike, and
So
this is my
the
wife,
political party
Today,
is a
foreign
slave.
government, Israel, operates the most powerful lobby in Congress. This is AIPAC, the American
AIPAC the
Israel
slave.
Public Affairs Committee.
Lord,
Through control of Congress, Israel demands and gets nearly $5 billion annually.
Ooh, and they want us to think that it is not possible that this young lady's life is not in danger to these foreign countries. Why else would the threat on her life, why else would the assassins that was hired by the French elite request or hire assassins from Israel? The fake one. The 1948 one. So let's hear this again. Know what you say?
No elected official dares criticize Israel for fear the Jewish lobby will accuse him of anti-Semitism, the kiss of death for any politician. The president also knows what Israel wants, Israel gets. To act otherwise is political suicide. The mass media, founded and controlled primarily by Jews, manipulates the spigot of information out of which Heartland America drinks. The message of this contaminated source is, if you criticize Israel, you are anti-Semitic. Be safe. Keep your head down, or you are fair game for being knocked off by the Zionist shooting gallery.
Knocked off?
As a
Knocked
result,
off?
our president and elected officials are slaves to political correctness when it comes to Jews and Israel. They cannot seriously criticize Israel, especially as the source of Mideast strife and terrorism. They cannot suggest an end of aid to Israel. They cannot even protest Zionist control of Congress.
Hello, I'm Ted Pike,
Wow.
and this is my wife, Lynn. Today, a foreign government, Israel, operates the most powerful lobby in Congress. This is AIPAC, the American Israel Public Affairs Committee. Through control of Congress, Israel demands and gets nearly $5 billion annually. No elected official dares criticize Israel for fear the Jewish lobby will accuse him of anti-Semitism, the kiss of death for any politician. The president also knows what Israel wants, Israel gets. To act otherwise is political suicide. The mass media, founded and controlled primarily by Jews, manipulates the spigot of information out of which Heartland America drinks. The message of this contaminated source is, if you criticize Israel, you are anti-Semitic. Be safe. Keep your head down, or you are...
Says be safe and keep your head on swivel. Well, now he said keep your head down. Y'all, what's really going on? And then people say, ask, is she playing with this Shem? Nim put a hit on her. Why would Shem request for a hitman? Or what is the word that the hitman is coming out of Israel? I wonder why. Why Israel? It's a lot going on, y'all. It's a lot going on. Let's listen to some of the stuff I've been listening to. And we gonna kind of pick up where she's right, where we left off.
Yummy popcorn. It's not a coincidence that Justin Trudeau is gay. Obama, gay.
I don't
Zelensky,
believe that.
gay.
Now, that part I don't believe. I don't know them folk. But, nah, that I don't believe, because that's the case. Her husband gay. I mean, ain't he a to-do family? The farmers? Yeah, so no, I don't believe that. Now, that I don't believe. I'm going to need more evidence. But hold on. Hold on. Let's go here. I'm trying to see where I was. There's a lot going on. Ooh-wee. Turning point. Erica, they talking about her in Vance. He leaving his wife for that Charlie Kirk money. I mean, coochie. I mean, you know. Let's listen.
I
Now.
use
Hit
PayPal
the
to buy
like
this
button.
ticket. I'm paying it off over time. No fees, no interest.
You know what else has no interest?
In Washington, D.C., U.S. officials
Oh, no,
say...
that's not what I want. Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't want to look at dumb Donnie. We done spoke that. We done beat that with a baseball bat. It's this one I want.
Political commentator and conspiracy theorist Candace Owens believes French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte Macron are plotting to assassinate her, according to an outlandish, lengthy tweet she fired off over the weekend. 2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple, I assumed the information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens. In short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination, she wrote on November 22nd. In the post, Owens went on to claim she was told formalized assassination plans were greenlit to be executed by a team in the elite French Special Ops Unit, National Gendarmerie.
I'm ready now. I need for y'all to hit the like buttons. Double tap.
Political commentator
on
and
your
conspiracy theorist Candace Owens believes French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte Macron are plotting to assassinate her, according to an outlandish, lengthy tweet she fired off over the weekend.
Don't that look like a man right there, y'all?
By a high-ranking employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French couple,
ain't this a man?
The information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens. In short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination, she wrote on November 22nd. In the post, Owens went on to claim she was told formalized assassination plans were greenlit to be executed by a team in the elite French Special Ops Unit, National Gendarmerie Intervention Group, while making sure to specify that there was one Israeli among the alleged assassination squad. She also warned in the post that the supposed assassination plot also endangers French independent journalist Xavier Broussard, who has also vehemently peddled conspiracy theories about the gender and sexuality of Brigitte Macron. Owens to be executed by a team in the elite French Special Ops Unit, National publicly in the event that something happens. In short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination, she wrote on November 22nd. In the post, Owens went on to claim she was told formalized assassination plans were greenlit to be executed by a team in the elite French Special Ops Unit, National Gendarmerie Intervention Group, while making sure to specify that there was one Israeli among the alleged assassination squad. She also warned in the post that the supposed assassination plot also endangers French independent journalist Xavier Broussard, who has also vehemently peddled conspiracy theories about the gender and sexuality of Brigitte Macron. Owens later posted that she has evidence to support her claims, including names and international accounts through which money was exchanged, and that she has informed the federal government and the White House of what she called the French and Israeli assassination plot. In her initial post, she also claimed that Charlie Kirk's assassin was allegedly connected to the French government, saying she was told he had trained with a French brigade, which she wrote was not a coincidence in a later post. And while many of the comments went on to call the lengthy tirade bat crazy or a psychiatric breakdown in real time, Telegram founder Pavel Durov chimed in on Owens' allegations of France's involvement in Kirk's death, calling them entirely plausible. Durov cited the Turning Point USA founder's previous down in real time. Telegram founder Pavel Durov chimed in on Owens' allegations of France's involvement in Kirk's death, calling them entirely plausible. Durov cited the Turning Point USA founder's previous comments about Macron's France, specifically referencing an occasion in which Kirk called for the country to drop charges against him or face 300% tariffs from the U.S. Durov was arrested in France in August of 2024 over several alleged organized crime offenses, as well as failing to combat the dissemination of criminal content on the messaging app. He was under strict travel supervision from the country until it was lifted earlier this month. Owens' slew of allegations comes amid a lengthy feud between the conspiracy theorist and
oh boy was arrested.
or face 300% tariffs from the U.S. Durov was arrested in France in August of 2024 over several alleged organized crime offenses, as well as failing to combat the dissemination of criminal content on the messaging app. He was under strict travel supervision from the country until it was lifted earlier this month. Owens' slew of allegations comes amid a lengthy feud between the conspiracy theorist and the French president and First Lady. The couple has been afflicted for years since Emmanuel
First Lady man.
First Lady. The couple has been afflicted for years since Emmanuel Macron's presidential win in 2017. Earlier this month, Owens' slew of allegations comes amid a lengthy feud between the conspiracy theorist and the French president and first lady. The couple has been afflicted for years since Emmanuel Macron's presidential win in 2017 by unsubstantiated conspiracy theories being spread online, most notably by Owens, claiming Brigitte is a transgender woman who was initially born a man named Jean-Michel Trogneux, which is the name of Brigitte's brother, after she was
He
slapped
is
with a
such
defamation
a
lawsuit
man.
French president and first lady.
Yeah, I gotta find that video where I watched her sit down. Oh my God. Oh my God. She absolutely forgot. Him, shim. Him, shim. Forgot. Him, roll. And sat down. Legs gapped open. Elbow on chin. No, elbow on the kneecap and chin on knuckles. Lord have mercy. It was like, oh, wait, what? Yeah.
Earlier this month, Owens' slew of allegations comes amid a lengthy feud between the conspiracy theorist and the French president and first lady. The couple has been afflicted for years since Emmanuel Macron's presidential win in 2017 by unsubstantiated conspiracy theories being spread online, most notably by Owens, claiming Brigitte is a transgender woman who was initially born a man
What was
named
that?
Jean-Michel Trogneux,
That's the
which
picture
is the
right
name of
there.
Brigitte's brother.
What was that? I mean, right here. Him, shim looks like a man with bad makeup on. Him. Lord. Why are you calling him, shim? That look, what? Is this the, why your mouth like that? Him. Why? What?
Brigitte is a transgender woman who was initially born a man named Jean-Michel Trogneux, which is the name of Brigitte's brother.
You can't
After she was
even
slapped
walk
with the
in them
defamation
shoes
lawsuits
without
by the
looking
Macrons
down.
in July, Owens doubled down on her comments about the French First Lady.
You were born a man and you will die a man. That's the point I'm making. So give us a sample. I'll send my doctors to take your blood. Figure it out real quick, however you want to go about this. Hey, how about just giving us some pictures again of you growing up, raising your children? That would be fine.
In January, Owens ran an 8-part podcast series in which she made the wild claims about the couple, who met when Brigitte was the future French leader's school teacher in 1993.
Fine.
In January, Owens ran an 8-part podcast series in which she made the wild claims about the couple, who met when Brigitte was the future French leader's school teacher in 1993.
I was watching last night, man. I tell you, the time I guess before they got together, and I guess the money was different. I don't know, but she always had on a scarf or a turtleneck. Always, it looked like it was hot outside. She had her neck covered. I said, Lord, and then him. But it's some kooky, freaky stuff going on. It is some assuming identity going on. It's bizarre. Him.
3. She was 39 and he was 15 at the time. I believe that Emmanuel Macron is a homosexual man that was groomed from his youth, Owens said in one of the episodes. I believe the individual who groomed him is now his wife. I believe his wife was born Jean-Michel Trogneux and transitioned in his early 30s, and I believe that the entire state is colluding to protect that secret, she said. Owens is no stranger to controversy. She has repeatedly courted outrage with anti-Semitic remarks, minimizing Hitler's ambitions, as well as defending Kanye West's social media posts. She has also amplified a grab bag of conspiracy theories, such as questioning the moon landing and promoting COVID-19.
Where she questioned it, and then the man came out and said that it was it was a lie. He never did it. Shocked the crap out of me. So y'all can say what y'all want to say about her, if her push and her investigation, because one thing is for sure, she is going to investigate. And it's funny how people want to act like they don't believe her, and she have people pouring in facts, evidence, the truth, and evidence. Because she bold enough to say it and research it and expose it. Now that is a fact. Whether we want to believe it or not, they pour in. She asked for it. They will send it. She will investigate it. She will uphold it or debunk it. That's a fact. That's a fact. Let's move on. I like that of her. I like the fact that she would do the work. I like the fact that she will expose the truth. Do that mean I believe everything she said? No. I think she's come a long way. Hey, Clarinetta. I think she has done some ownership within herself. And she's still a work in progress. But what she knows, she knows. What she researches, she knows. And that's without doubt. What is this one?
Candace is hard to take out other people. You can see people's lives are being threatened right and left for a variety of reasons, usually speaking out against the establishment. So it's something to pay attention to.
Let's listen to this.
All right, welcome back to the Jimmy Dore Show. My name is James Lee.
Let me get it over here.
We are going to talk about Candace Owens. I got a couple of stories on Candace Owens here. Specifically, we'll start with this one where she's saying that she's getting assassination threats from the state of France here. I'll read this tweet that she put out a few days ago. She says, quote, 2 days ago, I was contacted by a high-ranking employee of the French government. After determining this person's position and proximity to the French people, I have deemed this information they gave me to be credible enough to share publicly in the event that something happens. In short, this person claims that the Macrons have executed upon and paid for my assassination. Yes, you read that correctly. More specifically, that the green light was given to a small team in the National...
They all gonna start out this way, so bear with it.
Intervention group. I am told that there is one Israeli that is on this assassination squad, and the plans were formalized. Again, this person provided concrete proof that they were well placed within the French government apparatus. Further to this point, this person claims that Charlie Kirk's assassin trained with the French Legion 13th Brigade with multi-state involvement. Journalist Xavier Poussard's life is also at risk. This is deadly serious. The head of state of France apparently wants us both dead and has authorized professional units to carry this out. I ask that every person retweet and share this. I do not know who in the American government can be trusted, since this source claims our leaders are aware, but I have more specific information which is definitively verifiable should they care to reach out to me. To the brave official in France who did this because they were so moved by the evil of Charlie's public execution to risk their own life, may God bless you truly. Let all
Did I watch this yesterday?
revealed.
No.
And there was another tweet that Emerald Robinson put out. There's a national security source told me this threat against Candace Owens is real. And Pavel Durov, who is the CEO of Telegram, said that after reviewing everything Charlie Kirk has ever said about the Macrons in France, I find Candace's information about the French involvement in his death entirely plausible. Charlie even called for 300% tariffs on France until the charges against me were dropped. Okay.
Oh, that was France, right? I forgot about that. That dude, he got grabbed by France, Durov, right?
Yes, yes, he was detained by French authorities. I think it was maybe was it this year or last year? I can't remember. So he has a little bit of beef. So this whole situation is kind of bizarre because obviously Candace has been in a huge beef with the Macrons because of the Becoming Brigitte series that she did, where she allegedly is a trans or a man, and now
I think Candace is the #1 dong finder in this nation in general.
Well, she's certainly sniffing for something we don't know exactly. I always say, I watch her from time to time, and she seems to be sort of on the ball sometimes, but you also have to somewhat scrutinize her information a little bit. That's what I would say. It's like,
everybody you got to, but the having her killed thing, I mean, and while you're at it, Candace, go look into your boy John Mappin, because he has some strange connections as well while you're watching you back for France. I tweeted that at her. Go look into John Mappin. I don't know if you should trust that guy like you apparently do.
So let's hear. So recently, in terms of her investigation, she's been on this Egyptian plane sort of rabbit hole, and Egyptian in quotation marks. Let's hear her talk about that real quick, and then we'll discuss.
Okay. So you had landed into Salt Lake City at 9:23 a.m. local time. I suspect that if he had instead landed into Provo, he would have recognized the blue Egyptian plane. Okay? It's not every day that you see an Egyptian military craft. It is now my well-informed opinion that he would have looked at that plane and he would have recognized the blue plane, and he would have instantly realized that something was amiss. And now I'm going to explain to you very carefully why I suspect that it is highly likely that Charlie would have recognized that plane. Okay? Tail number SUBND, the blue plane. A pregnant mommy sleuth who was locked into this investigation discovered something that me and my team had missed. I consider her, obviously, and all of you to be my decentralized intelligence agents. Anyway, she sent me a rather urgent email, and I'm obviously protecting her identity for reasons that are clear. But I want you to know that this discovery is due entirely to her. She is the person that, in this regard, went max for Charlie when I missed something. Her email stated, in effect, that I was only partially right about the plane tracking Charlie, that she had done an additional 15 hours of research and was able to discern that the person the planes were actually tracking for years was Erica. Not Charlie, but Erica was the one being tracked by these planes. And indeed, it turns out that she was correct. She discovered that between 2022 and September of 2025, both of those aircrafts, SUBCRIBE, the yellow plane, and SUBND, the blue plane,
Brigitte
showed 68
Macron,
overlaps.
the one,
with
the reason why there's a hit on her.
Locations, okay? 68 overlaps.
The him shim.
Add now 73 times that this overlapped, okay? And 29 of those instances also happened to include Charlie. Charlie was also present, and that's what I was stumbling upon when I was looking into this. I was like, why is this plane where Charlie is? The flights were majority clustered within 5 states: Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Delaware, and Utah. And it's a pattern that she believes is statistically not random. I'm telling you this information has been completely verified. I am showing you this on the spreadsheet now. These are all the instances in which this plane, 68 instances that this plane crossed with Erica.
A few years ago, I put out this video.
What the f is in your mouth?
And immediately it started racking up millions of views. Why?
Brigitte Macron.
That this plane crossed with Erica.
Okay, so
French president's wife is a him shim.
Kash Patel is,
And because she was exposing it,
Kash Patel.
because Candace was exposing the French president's wife true identity. She was sued for the wife lost, and now there's a hit out on Candace Owens, and there's also a connection between Israel, France, and other countries with Charlie Kirk unaliving.
Job is kind of what she's doing right now. I don't know if she's on some kind of rabbit hole off to the side, whether it is, connected that there were 68 or 70 instances of these planes being in approximately the same area as Charlie and Erica Kirk. But that should be the job of the top law enforcement agency in the United States to investigate this, except for the fact that Kash Patel angrily shut down the intelligence or shut down an investigation to see if there were other foreign countries involved in the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Yes, he did, didn't he?
Yes, I believe it was Joe Kent, who is the deputy director of U.S. counterintelligence. He wanted to look into just to, close the loophole to say, can we eliminate this potential possibility?
His job, the thing he's supposed to do.
Right.
Can we at least say no foreign agents were involved? But now, obviously, you can't, or they don't want to know, right? Either, I think it's one of those situations, if you're not looking for something, you probably either A, don't want to know the answer, or B, already know what the answer is, and they don't want it publicly revealed.
That's it.
Manage effectively that doesn't come out, it only comes out to a certain degree, much like Maureen Comey was with the Diddy trial and the Elaine trial.
That's what I'm saying. So this is, because a lot of people, I think, if you look at the Twitter conversation, they're like, what are you saying, Candace, with these Egyptian planes? Does it make any sense? Why
Makes
they
sense to me.
Well, so, I put out this tweet last week, and I said, hey, by the way, Egyptian doesn't necessarily mean Egyptian. There have been a lot of times, Israel has used Egyptian identity in these kinds of covert operations to do reconnaissance or do whatever, forging passports, putting Egyptian flags on various vehicles or transportation that they have. It's all been done before.
Israel.
I don't exactly know what they're doing. Like I said, it's not supposed to be a podcaster's job to do this necessarily. It's a podcaster's job maybe to then relay that information to the public, but this kind of investigation should be originating from the FBI, except Kash Patel is getting involved in, obviously with a sensational country singer. He's a little bit distracted.
Oh yeah, he's a real poon hound. I heard he's got a great music video I produced for him recently, James, that I think you'll see why he's been distracted when you see this video.
But so don't say anything about them. I mean, they're very litigious people, I've been told. So don't.
Yeah. 33. He says, "Shut up, 33. He just says 33.
And he'll see you in Valhalla. But that's kind of my take on this. Is I think, from what I've heard, the threats against Candace has not been taken seriously by the U.S. authorities. They're not really looking into it. They said, they think that she's on something, and they don't want to bother with this. They don't think it's credible. I don't know. Based on the history,
they do a great job, don't they, with the Trump shooters and the.
Right. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
I'm supposed to believe. Dude, the Thomas Crooks thing. I don't understand how we move past that. I understand we move past the guy in New York that because he had CRT from from playing high school football, went to New York with an AR to the Blackstone building. We forgot about that one. We've just moved on from these things that make no sense.
We move on from it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I think that there's more. There should be more to come out about Thomas Crooks since Tucker did his piece on how he did actually have an online footprint, as more contrary to what we were led to believe.
The Gang Bongino said.
Yes, it's like, he had no online presence, but no, he had quite a bit of online.
This guy has no presence. I looked. Wait, Gang Bongino. What else?
He was clearly radicalized by somebody, so
his parents were behavioral modification therapists. Behavioral modification therapists. Have you heard any interviews with the parents? It's really strange. You don't. I mean, Dahmer's parents had to talk to the press, but not these people, right? Whose son took a shot at the president and killed a guy. Well, as soon as you hear behavioral modification therapist, here's a tip, everyone. That's MK Ultra stuff. The second you hear that
MK Ultra.
I promise you that's what it's going to be. And Tucker, the stuff he found, I'll bet you will end towards what I'm saying. because that stuff never
Thank you,
ended, and that's
Dorothy.
why we get these wind-up toy shooters.
Right, but then what? So what's the bigger goal? Has to be what? Is it the security state? Is it something? It's like what are they trying to do?
Australia, after one mass shooting, Australia gave up all the guns after just one mass shooting because they're punks. Here in America, we don't care. We're like, oh, so I'll take my chances. But in Australia, they had one Asperger's something kid who's an amazing shot beyond all reason apparently, and they all gave up their guns right away. And in Tragedy and Hope, get the book and read it. It explains no people ever get fully conquered until you disarm them, and that's a real thing. I always thought that was just gun nut stuff. No, that's for real. It's 100% for real.
Yeah. Well, regardless, I think it's important for U.S. authorities to prioritize protecting Americans, right? Versus
Absolutely.
maybe other interests in regards to foreign policy, these kinds of things. And we do have, as far as historical precedents in terms of Candace getting threats from various governments. This is from Project Veritas, where they have these leaked texts from history saying we need to blackmail Candace faster. This is Mary Barr Daley, former Senate.
Yeah, that didn't help
DOJ
at all.
As well.
I don't even know what's not plausible about this. You already know the abuses they've engaged in on the regular
Mm-hmm.
for the last how many years, dude? In front of your face. What is the part that they wouldn't do that to someone who's a huge problem for them? What?
Yeah, what?
So this is obviously something that should be looked into. This is what I say to everybody who sort of questions Candace Owens. Like, yeah, you should absolutely question her, but she's doing the job of the authorities, and the stuff that she's saying, she always comes with the receipts at the very end. She might not show them to you right away, and I just don't know if they know what they're dealing with, because not everybody can be a Candace Owens. I think she is unique in the sense that she doesn't have to bow to any kind of establishment order, right? Because I think she's independently wealthy, so the lawsuits don't really scare her. This is the only
She
thing.
is? I thought she's backed by somebody very wealthy, and I thought it was John.
Like her husband. Her husband.
That's it?
That's from my understanding. So that's sort of where I think that's why she can do what she does. I think there's fair criticisms of her, but this is more of an indictment, I think, on the U.S.
Backed by her husband.
I don't have to like people. Or
Shout out to the husbands with money, I guess.
Who gives a shit what I like? If you got it, okay, I'll listen to it. Even Dippy Nick Fuentes, I don't like that guy, but if we stack up what I think are his crimes against, a full-blown genocide in broad daylight, it's not exactly the same, is it? I have a sense of proportionality with these people.
So we'll keep, Candace in our thoughts there, because I think this is something that is highly critical. We should all pay attention.
Okay, yeah, we should all pay attention. We should all pay attention. Absolutely. Because there's some kooky, freaky stuff going on. Let's go. Candace, let's see. The French Foreign Legions. Okay, the French Foreign Legions. Okay, yeah, I wanted to hear this. He was having mic problems. Let me see.
What? Yeah, and get out.
Try the phone first here. Let me also just send a new link just to make sure. Copy. So bear with us for 1 second, guys.
Valhalla. His shirt says Valhalla.
And we'll get it.
I think that's what attracted me to listen to this. And he had somebody who's from the French military. But I'm like, ain't that the place where Cash Patel told Charlie he would see him in Valhalla? I said, oh, okay. Okay. Hi, Mel Brooks.
All right, chat. So a bunch of you are saying you could hear him just fine, but then some people were saying you couldn't hear him. So what's the deal? I could hear him. His video was choppy, but his audio was fine. You could hear him just fine? No. What's the consensus here? It was choppy. Was the video choppy or was the audio choppy? Definitely couldn't hear him. Okay.
Let me move this a little forward.
Is Candace throwing out some specific information about Trez, DBL.
Just
all these guys, yeah, it might be. But so on this case studies, right? And then dude ends up doing 5 years in prison and gets out, was on probation, finishes his parole. Tom Keys, last day of his parole in his apartment, locks it, flew to the French Foreign Legion, where he did 9 years. So there's some skilled guys there, you know, in various groups. What's interesting is Candace throwing out some specific information about Trez, DBLE, Trez 13 and right, 13th. That's some specific information that, unless she's kind of in the weeds, I don't know where she would have pulled that from. And so that's actually kind of interesting.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the units once we get there, because I saw that too, and I was like, as far as I knew, it was 13th was a mechanized infantry unit. I don't know if that's correct or not.
Yeah, they're pretty much straight infantry.
Straight infantry?
For the most part. Yeah.
And so that was kind of weird to me, because I figured that's like not the higher tier unit you would think a guy that's going to pull off an assassination would come from, but like, could someone from the 13th potentially still be getting like sniper training or something like that?
Yes. So they do have some kind of sharpshooters. It is, though. It's kind of the redheaded stepchild in regiment of the Foreign Legion a little bit. It's kind of where they put the guys who are maybe a little troublemaker, maybe didn't do the best in camp, but are tough, but they still want to do infantry, or it's kind of the backfill. You know, it's a rough regiment. They fucking run those guys hard and put them away wet, dude. For real. Yeah.
Yeah, I think your audio is doing better now. Seems like you're doing pretty well now. Just keep your pace where you're at, and I think we should be good. Yeah, so that was the first thing I talk about is how guys get in. So like, could you potentially have guys from like you said, like Belarus and like some of these like Slavic countries where you're like, this guy's a little sketchy, not sure how he got here. Is there a lot of that? Like, where is it primarily French guys, or is it literally just all foreigners?
It's 1% French. All the rest foreigners. And even going in, if you are French, they're required to, on their fake identity they give them, they make them Canadian.
They make them Canadian?
Yeah, because they speak French, and so they have to have the nationality make sense, right? And so they all make Canadian. They're from fucking Quebec or whatever.
And they're actually
Did he say fake ID?
They're actually French.
Good. Yeah, so that was the first thing I talk about is how guys get in. So like, could you potentially have guys from like you said, like Belarus and like some of these like Slavic countries where you're like, this guy's a little sketchy, not sure how he got here. Is there a lot of that? Like, where is it primarily French guys, or is it literally just all foreigners?
It's 1% French. All the rest foreigners. And even going in, if you are French, they're required to, on their fake identity they give them, they make them Canadian.
They make them Canadian?
Yeah, because they speak French, and so they have to have the nationality make sense, right? And so they all make Canadian. They're from fucking Quebec or whatever.
And they're actually French.
They're actually French. So they have a fake identity in their own country. Very odd.
So this is why this is so compelling, is because of stuff like this. I mean, like, we're talking about guys who are given a fake identity to be a part of this unit. Or reinventing an identity, I've heard, is kind of normal too, right? Did you? Yeah. I've heard, I was watching your content, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you got like new IDs when you were there, potentially?
Absolutely. They sent me Clayson was my name. They use your same initials and then roll your birth
with a different name?
Totally different. If I have a fucking ID, I'll put it to show you. It's a trip. Trent Clayson, born in New York City, and they move your birthday.
What?
Didn't Epstein have a lot of fake IDs?
Keep that identity and naturalize it in France as that identity. That takes about 7 or 8 years Takes about 7 or 8 years minimum. But most guys do what's called RSM, which is called a regularization situation military. You regularize your military situation so you can actually get your passport back. Because when I joined, gave my passport, I didn't see that fucking passport again for 3 years. They hold on to it until
they took your passport.
Yep, day one. I didn't. So you can't technically leave the country. The only time I left the country during the time until I got my real name back a few years later was and that's like routed additional paperwork, birth certificates and stuff. And
yeah, I think I really do think Epstein is
deployed with an official French passport, you know, the red one, and Trent Clayson was on the fucking passport.
What? You had an official government passport with a fake identity on it.
100%, and that's why
that's wild, man.
In talking to lawyers, it's very odd. That's why the disciplinary hand Legion is very odd. They have their own little jails on the base where you're breaking big rocks into small rocks and running around the base pretty much. It's technically illegal in France, but you don't really have any legal protections. You're not a citizen.
Right.
You're kind of there. You have a bank account, but it's under a fake name. It's very and you have insurance, but it's a unique situation. And going off what you said, Nate, about pulling from that, it's a unique pull because you could put somebody in there that speaks English. You could send somebody that could blend into the situation or whatever in a easy way and not have the political backlash of it being like you had mentioned before of some French guy. Because it's an act of war, technically, right? I mean, it would really be an act of war. You're sending
100%
with a military personnel into the United States, man. Holy shit.
Organized crime. Hi, Harvey.
Pretty epic, man, when you say it out loud.
But I mean, I didn't even touch the surface in my video about this. I knew about the reinventing identities. I had no idea that it was fake names on passports. You can completely become that new identity. That becomes incredibly compelling to the story of a potential assassin for Candace, because like you said, there's so much plausible deniability for the French government or Macron to be like, if this guy, let's say this guy gets rolled up when he's trying to kill Candace, it's like this dude has a fake name with a fake ID that the French government can be like, we don't know who the fuck this guy is. This is some Belarusian man. Like,
100%.
That's not ours.
Easy. Yeah, it's easy to keep that at arm's distance.
That is so wild. I wanted to ask you about the training you guys get. I imagine it's different based off the unit, but what does training look like? Is it let's say standard to like what we would do as SEALs or Green Berets, where you're going to get high level firearms training, sniping training, tradecraft, anything like that?
Tradecraft, no. Probably not as much tradecraft, but I mean, you're going to go through all the basic infantry stuff. So it's an infantry, highly trained infantry unit, right? It's not special forces, which is an important delineation. I would say their highest trained guys are probably more equivalent to Rangers, right?
So would you say you were probably already more trained than the training they're going to give you when you showed up as a SEAL? Yeah, like you showing up as a Green Beret, Nate, or something, you're going to have for weapons manipulation. Just how many rounds you put down range, right? It's at some point of just repetition. It's expensive to shoot that much. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what you could have, like you said, is, I mean, you could have like Spetsnaz, you could have like Russian Spetsnaz that could potentially show up, right? Like, I mean.
Oh, you do. Oh, you 100%.
Oh, you do?
You do?
Okay,
yeah.
you do, yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're absolutely there, right? You have guys that were special police in Russia or wherever coming from, and they had done their special force equivalency, right? And so you can tell immediately to get on the range, their ability to manipulate the weapon, shoot, move, and communicate. It's obvious who's done stuff and who hasn't, right? Yeah. And so you absolutely have that. Now, you have...
How did he get out?
Ducium Rep, Paris Regiment, some of the infantry units. You're going to have sniper units that are going to be a combat company that are specialized in that. So and then you also have the commando units, which are like GCP, for instance, is their highest level.
Do y'all remember when it came to, we was talking about Charlie Kirk, and I was talking about the security guy and the military guy and the guy in the veterans t-shirt, and I said it kind of gave me the feel like even the guy that they was talking about was Tyler Robinson. It gave me a feel like they were in training, military training, shooting, like they were on. That's what the feeling it gave me in listening to him, especially with all these forces, all these different foreign countries. Also with Trump allowing Qatar to build the Air Force Base in Utah, in Idaho, the hangar, military hangar that was empty, wasn't in use, and then all of a sudden the Macrons come and someone from France rents it out for 2 years. It just seems like all military, which is, they say, a major part of the CIA, and trained forces with the trafficking of little kids, drugs, guns, and gold.
Okay. Group commando parachutees. They're doing halos and shit, man. These guys are in it, and it's their selection.
Y'all, please hit the like button. Double tap the face of the screen.
I went into the GCM selection, Group Commando Mountain, and I fucking failed the run. I fucking failed. Yeah, dude.
Wow.
And I was, I knew the time was just way too fast. I mean, I could just not make the time. And, but so they train hard, and interesting, their commando units, Group Commando Mountain, Group Commando Parachutees, that's actually French military, not the Foreign Legion. And so there's guys that go from the Foreign Legion and are actually operating side by side with just straight French Special Forces.
Wow. What?
Yeah.
And you could have
that next level.
And that's why this is so crazy to me, because if and we're dealing in hypotheticals, we're going under the hypothetical that this is true, what Candace is saying, right? We're not saying necessarily we know that this is real, but under the hypothetical, if you're Macron, I mean, you've got access to guys like you're talking about that are incredibly trained for exactly this type of thing, with all of the plausible deniability, fake IDs, fake identities, fake passports. This is it almost seems like the perfect place to grab someone from. Maybe not while they're in the unit, but if you were to, because you just, again, sorry, I'm kind of shocked about some of this stuff as I'm learning it, because it's so crazy to me, because we have nothing like this in the United States.
Yes, you do.
If a guy
you just don't realize it.
Get up into the tier 1 units, like you said, from the French Foreign Legion, he's, let's say, Belarusian. After he gets out, is there high side opportunities for him to get into the CIA-esque world of the French government as well?
So this is an interesting part that I'm glad you brought up, Nate, is you can do a lateral. And I've known guys that have done this. They naturalize their citizens, then they lateral move into whatever pipeline they want in the French military. So there's Foreign Legionnaires that went all the way to their highest level units in special operations.
In the French government?
In the French military, as a Frenchman.
And, okay, so now all of a sudden, though, because I completely discounted the GIGN, now all of a sudden, though, is you could have a guy that's a French Foreign Legionnaire who's moved into one of those units that's doing executive protection for the president, that the president may say, hey, I've got a guy that I could potentially pay $1.5 million to go pull this off. I mean, just hypothetically.
Yeah. It's what's the more likely thing is like you had talked about, it's a guy who had been a Legionnaire. If this is something, right? It's a guy who had been a Legionnaire that they send in. And what's also unique to this is I kind of wrote it off when I initially heard it, but I don't underestimate when people are insulted. Because there's like with Candace saying about his wife and, you know, all this stuff. I never can't pull out what people are willing to do when they're like deeply insulted and mad.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the one piece is kind of makes it like not crazy.
Well, I mean, yeah, and we're going to get into talking about that too. Oh, also, a lot of people are saying, "What's the GIGN?" We were supposed to talk about this first. I kind of screwed that up, Taylor. You want to explain? I'm going to pull up just a picture. As far as I understand it, they're essentially like a tier 1 unit that's used for domestic counterterrorism.
Yes.
If I don't know if you want to expand on that or kind of explain who these guys are for the chat.
They're national gender arms. So the gender arms are an interesting unit because it's like a militant police force.
Right.
I mean, I deployed. I had 2, not specific all this stuff. I never can't pull out what people are willing to do when they're like deeply insulted and mad.
Chat.
They're national gender arms. So the gender arms are an interesting unit because it's like a militant police force.
Right.
I mean, I deployed. I had 2, not specifically GIGN, but gender arms with me in French Guiana when I deployed down in South America.
As a part when you were in the French Foreign Legion, you had GIGN guys with you.
Lived in the jungle with us Legionnaires.
Lived in the jungle.
Okay, I didn't know that. So now there's crossover.
They have different legal jurisdiction because we couldn't technically arrest certain people, French citizens in French Guiana, if they were French, because they could, right? We could wrap up Brazilians or wrap up foreigners, but we couldn't do it with, you know, the French nationals with different searching procedures. So they actually deploy and do stuff. Now, small little thing, I'm not going to say what unit, but it's a very well-known strong unit in the United States. And when I was over there, there was a guy training them, right? And what was over there. So just, I won't get into too specifics of that.
Training the GIGN guys? Wow.
Yeah. And because of anti-terrorist shit going on with the Olympics, right? Because the Olympics was over. So they're kind of preparing for that. They train at a very high level, the highest of levels. They have guys coming in from, you know, they're flying to the United States training with tier 1 units.
Oh, wow.
So like that guy that was on the roof with those foreigners. So in other words, foreigners come over to the U.S. high level and get training. Is that what I'm hearing? Let me hear that again.
Domestic counterterrorism.
Yes.
If I don't know if you want to expand on that or kind of explain who these guys are for the chat.
They're national gender arms.
No, not
so
that
the
far
gender
back.
arms are interesting in the Olympics, right? Because the Olympics was over. So do it with, you know, the French nationals. They have different legal jurisdiction because we couldn't technically arrest certain people, French citizens in French Guiana, if they were French, because they could, right? We could wrap up Brazilians or wrap up foreigners, but we couldn't do it with, you know, the French nationals with different searching procedures. So they actually deploy and do stuff. Now, small little thing, I'm not going to say what unit, but it's a very well-known strong unit in the United States. And when I was over there, there was a guy training them, right? And what was over there. So just, I won't get into too specifics of that.
Training the GIGN guys? Wow.
Yeah. And because of anti-terrorist shit going on with the Olympics, right? Because the Olympics was over. So they're kind of preparing for that. They train at a very high level, the highest of levels. They have guys coming in from, you know, they're flying to the United States training with tier 1 units.
Oh, wow. Well, that's
so they're pretty well trained.
God.
Yeah, they're pretty well trained, and you know what's interesting about this though is you got to have some pretty gnarly trade craft doing this type of thing if you're going to send somebody on a mission like this. I mean, you have many levels of having to get secret squirrel, and so somebody on that would probably have been pulled. And so I'm not sure how much GIGN is doing that type of stuff. That would be, kind of whatever, but possibly overlapping training with some of their intelligence units or however that looks. I'm not sure what the intelligence arm is of France, their CIA equivalency or what they're doing, or if they have, a ground branch type equivalent or something, but I'm sure they do.
I wanted to pull up this. This was a story I thought was interesting. I don't know if he's actually a deserter or not, but there was a story about a former 2REP deserter who then all of a sudden magically turned up and was part of the Ukrainian special forces fighting in Ukraine. And the reason why I thought this was interesting is it kind of shows like how guys could just like be in the French Foreign Legion and then all of a sudden be in foreign countries doing different special operations level stuff, and nobody really knows how he got there or why he's there, to the point of like, well, if he ended up in Ukraine out of nowhere and part of the special forces, like how unrealistic is it for a guy like that to?
Well, I'm bleeding off, I'm angling, dude. I'm angling it.
But yeah, guys, and Taylor, go to his website because you do fitness coaching as well, right?
I don't want to hear this.
Okay, so when the withdrawal happens and all this chaos happens, understand the Kandahar Strike Force guys, the CIA assets, these are the first guys that are all removed because they are the Kandahar Strike Force. You're going to hear the KSF, you're going to hear the KKA, you're going to hear a bunch of different, the KPF, right, the Coast Protection Force. All of these things kind of mean the same thing. It's one of the different units. We use a bunch of different special operation units that we founded and we set up and trained Afghans to be a part of. Okay, so I'll kind of like work from bottom to top. Me and my wife got you a Christmas present. I'm going to get it to you here the next couple of days as a thank you. My one moderator, and it's getting.
Yeah, no. Hold on.
Had in fact, include
the Daily Wire doesn't believe that Shapiro wins the debate with Candace Owens.
You think they believe that?
100. Otherwise, there's no reason to do it. Otherwise, there's no reason to do it. Otherwise, there's no reason to do it.
So I'm bemused because I've been involved in a lot of contracts in my time. I've been in.
Y'all, please double tap the face of your screen if you're on your phone device. And if not, can you hit the three dots at the top? And it'll take you to the like button so we can get the likes up. It's 240 people in. It's almost 12 o'clock midnight. And I'm sleepy. So to keep me here, I need for you to double tap the face of your screen. Get the lights up for me. Double tapping is free. It don't cost a thing. It don't cost a thing. Are y'all able to hear me? Are y'all still with me? Do y'all want me to continue to go forth? Hey. Hey, Nana. Yeah, she's safe. She's safe. She touched bases with her base, she said that it was the day after Thanksgiving, and she made mention of those steaks that she speaks on in her, which I thought was cool, just to let her people know that it was her, and what day it was. Yeah.
All right, we are doing day after Thanksgiving steaks, obviously Riverbend Ranch. So I'll let you guys see what these look like when they come off the grill.
So that's how I know that she's okay.
Hello, I'm Ted Pye. This is my...
That's something just as simple as that. That's her. And she is still doing her part with the steaks. So yes, she's safe. It's just the little things.
Employer, I've been employee, and so on. I don't understand.
You understand? That's just how I look at it. Hey, Jody. Thank you. Limon. Yeah. I really appreciated that, because we would have began to start worrying. So she gave us that little snippet. It was the day after Thanksgiving, and she made mention her steaks. Oh, Bridget, is that her name? Yeah, Bridget Macron and her husband. This him shim. The him shim and her husband. So Mr. and Mr. Macron put a hit out on her last weekend. And they hired an Israeli hitman. And she got the tip from someone high up in France. And the U.S. knows. But as we found out, Trump had asked her to stop speaking on the Mr. and Mr. Macron. And she didn't. And she was able to connect the dots with them and Charlie Kirk. And then a hit went out on her. Yep. Those Egyptian planes. Yeah, so the guy that we just was listening to, he was in the military. So he was, you know, there is a possibility that what she's saying is true. Because she mentioned some brigades. She mentioned some things that she should not have known. And that's what those two guys was previously talking about. And so in a minute, I'm going to, when the lights get up, I'll switch over, because I wanted us to get familiar with the series that she did on him shim. And the lawsuits that was in place in this him lost because she didn't want to prove, but it's looking, and they were pedophiles, PDFers, and possibly the same stuff that was going on up under Trump and Epstein was going on in France as well. But it looks like she may have taken on somebody's identity. So in just a few, I'm trying to hear what this is about, because it's still connected to Israel, pro-Israel to some degree, because they all in cahoots together, especially with the organized crime and the trafficking and the kids. And she was about to expose the intelligence of it all.
Why somebody from the Daily Wire can be so explicit about the reasons you left, and yet you are not able to be as explicit to defend yourself or to counter what they're saying.
Amen, Pierce. Amen.
Yeah,
I think
it's
that
true.
is probably a question that was on a lot of people's minds. And
hey,
you know,
Terry, I was happy to hear her voice today, for real.
What was it that Kanye was saying about contracts. And, you know, I think it is, even if you believe that it is valid for that to happen, I think it is immoral to allow someone to attack someone and to not allow them to defend their name.
Daily Wire issued gag order against Candace Owens during public debate negotiations, right? Okay, so let me read this story because, you know, I'm sure you have great feedback to give to both sides on this. A conservative news and commentary outlet, the Daily Wire, has reportedly obtained gag order against former podcast host Candace Owens. The news reported allegations alleges despite company co-founder Ben Shapiro claiming that he wanted to debate her on the Israel-Palestine issue, Owens' 3-year stint at the Daily Wire ended in March following months of tensions between the professional provocateur and her fellow network personalities. The subject of the Israel-Hamas was proved to be particularly divisive issue for Owens and Shapiro. Owens has taken a firm stance against it, American involvement in foreign wars, including the one in Gaza. Shapiro, an Orthodox Jew, has criticized other Republicans for their declining support for both Israel and Ukraine, stressing America's national security interest in both conflicts.
Immediately after, Candace Owens went to Twitter and said, I'd like to have a debate with Ben Shapiro about Israel. The Daily Wire ran into an arbitration proceeding and requested that an arbitrator put a gag order on Candace Owens and order her blocked, banned from criticizing the Daily Wire or Ben Shapiro in any way. And none of this was disclosed by the Daily Wire. They had led their audience to believe that they actually wanted a debate with Candace Owens. And yet at the same time, in secret, they were arguing to the arbitrator that the way in which Candace Owens asked for this debate, the expressions of criticism she had voiced about Ben Shapiro, the fact that she had liked multiple tweets that were criticizing Ben Shapiro in the Daily Wire meant that Candace Owens, by negotiating and asking for this debate, had in fact engaged in disparagement of the Daily Wire in a way that violated her contract, and they therefore convinced an arbitrator in secret that they were likely to win if they sued Candace Owens for breach of contract, and the only remedy possible would be to gag Candace Owens from talking about the Daily Wire or Ben Shapiro in any way critically.
What do you think about that?
A lot of blackmail and...
I like it.
I'll tell you what, I like the move. This is a very smart move by the Daily Wire. You got to remember, it's not Ben Shapiro anymore. He made his decision. Organizations protect themselves. And when they have a contract with you, they will immediately do this. Now, Glenn, the truth is enough. Glenn doesn't have to say they went in secret. The arbitration is what it is. You know what I mean? It's in your contract. So
and
it's
he
not like they're
it.
sneaking around. But, so, you know, he doesn't need that drama to it. But the reality is, you're saying one thing to me, but now you got your boys exercising a right on my contract. And you have to look at the reason why, okay? The Daily Wire doesn't believe that Shapiro wins the debate with Candace Owens.
You think they believe that?
100. Otherwise, there's no reason to do it.
I don't understand why somebody from the Daily Wire can be so explicit about the reasons you left, and yet you are not able to be as explicit to defend yourself or to counter what they're saying.
Amen, Pierce.
I think that what Candace Owens is doing right now is evil. It is evil what she is doing right now. Okay, and I say that again.
But what?
Because
like I didn't opine on whether it's evil or not, but my position.
But he was
is
scared
really
to debate
none
with
of my
her.
business. And
why is it? But I have a question. Why is it none of your business? I mean, you comment on these things for a living.
I'm not mother of the internet.
No, but if this were on the left and somebody were accusing Charlie Kirk of his wife having murdered him, I assume that you would be talking about it.
Is that what Candace is accusing Erica of?
Yes.
Of murdering her own husband?
She's accusing TPUSA insiders and other members of the right wing, including Seth Dillon, of
She's
being
accusing you
in the murder of Charlie Kirk. Yes.
Okay. Like I said, I don't take in that content, which is an honest statement. I don't have time to watch.
No, I believe you. I believe you. But the point that I'm making is that
what I
that friendship should not, in our business, I think it's important. Listen,
friendship should not trump. We don't even know each other.
I understand, but even with Tucker, friendship should not trump our manifest requirement to speak out when people do and say things that are both detrimental to conservatism and morally wrong.
Okay, so I don't totally disagree, but I think the way of handling that, at least for me, is much different.
Hi, Megan.
Hi.
My name is Joshua. My question is, during a recent stop, you had Ben Shapiro as a guest, and he had made some claims about Candace, saying that she had said certain things online, and when he made those claims, you looked visibly uncomfortable because, you know, you hadn't heard that and couldn't verify that. So my question is, why did you look so uncomfortable in that moment, and have you researched the claims that he made since?
Thank you for that. Yeah, no, he said that Candace has been claiming Erica Kirk was behind the murder of Charlie, which I had not heard, and I was taken aback because that seems like something I would have heard. It's so crazy. And I have since learned it is not true. Candace has not made that claim. And in fact, I've now seen several clips of Candace specifically defending Erica Kirk and saying she would never make a claim like that about Erica, and that she, you know, she is open-minded to other people at Turning Point. That's obvious. She's been making that point. I had heard that point. But she's specifically been defending Erica Kirk, and she's been saying she does not think that of Erica. And in fact, if you read her comments, she's under pressure to make comments about Erica. And so far, what I've seen, she hasn't. So thank you for that question.
The Daily Wire doesn't believe that Shapiro wins the debate with Candace Owens.
You think they believe that?
100. Otherwise, there's no reason to do it.
I have called you, and I'm not alone in this, many Jews have called you an anti-Semite. I've also talked to people who say you have a really sweet heart, just so you know. You and I have a number of mutual friends in the world. But I think it's important to first identify what anti-Semitism is. It is a different type of hate than any other type of hate in the world. And
it's a different type of hate. Okay, that's what it is.
That Shapiro wins the debate with Candace Owens.
You think they believe that?
100. Otherwise, there's no reason to do it.
I have called you, and I'm not alone in this, many Jews have called you an anti-Semite. I've also talked to people who say you have a really sweet heart, just so you know. You and I have a number of mutual friends in the world. But I think it's important to first identify what anti-Semitism is. It is a different type of hate than any other type of hate in the world. And if you and I are speaking crossways because we have a different understanding and definition, that's not going to lead to any dialogue. That's not going to lead. Look, I said to Scott, I'd love to walk out of here and say, you know what, I was wrong, and write an article, I apologize, and I was wrong. But the first piece is to have a mutual understanding of what is anti-Semitism. I think that would help a tremendous amount.
I actually totally agree with you on that. That is a perfect place to start. Could you provide for us a definition of anti-Semitism?
Absolutely, I really appreciate that, because I think that is the break. If we're not speaking the same language, where can we go, right?
Yeah.
So there's a man, blessed memory man named Lord Jonathan Sachs, who's the chief rabbi of England. He had a great line. He really defined anti-Semitism. That anti-Semitism is Jews have no right to exist collectively as Jews with the same rights as other human beings. Just kind of weird statements. Let's just track back to understand the history of anti-Semitism. 2,000 years ago, Jews don't accept Jesus as Messiah. For people who do not have faith, as the early Christians, as some of them have faith, some of them accept Jesus, but they don't really in their heart. And you and I both know people like Rob McCoy who accepts it fully in their heart, and other people who are doing it without faith. And they're those who have less faith. The fact that a Jew exists, let alone thrives, is a threat to their faith, because how can the Jew not accept Jesus as God and still thrive? Unless he's associated with the devil. So you start having these myths that are created of the Jew being identified with the opposite.
I mean, look it up, Harvey. I mean, you have to look that up yourself.
1144 Norwich, England, what's called the Blood Bible.
Yeah, I'm not going to debate this about that. This is, yeah, you have to look that up yourself.
Associated with the devil. So you start having these myths that are created of the Jew being identified with the opposite of God. This really codifies in 1144 Norwich, England, what's called the Blood Bible. This is really important to understand, especially today.
Okay, and I understand that, but because I've had conversations on here about this, because one, how do the average person know if somebody is a Jew? And then, you know, if somebody's just making a statement that one that could be making a statement, they could be asking a question, and then the next thing somebody says, "Oh, you're being anti-Semitic." I'm like, well, how? Well, nobody's saying anything about the Holocaust. Nobody's saying anything about this, that, and the other. So, how do people know, and what does that mean? Why do Jewish people just automatically assume that somebody is talking about the Holocaust and being prejudiced? Because it's not. It's not always the case. So I get that. I mean, yeah. I mean, and as a Christian, we don't have to, and that's our belief. We don't have to go into definite. I mean, I don't know. We don't have to throw that out there as a defense to define our religion. We don't, but I think they do that because there are a lot of fake. And when people are peeping the fakeness, then that's a quick defense to jump to, and I don't agree. Not to me. Greek zombie, not to me. Not to me. I mean, if they don't have those little kissy curls hanging down the side and the little hat on their head, no. And not all of them do that. No, that is not true. Absolutely is not true. That's like saying, no, I'm not going to even do that. But no, that is not true.
And still thrive, unless he's associated with the devil. So you start having these myths that are created. Other people who are doing it without faith, and
prime example, Bibi Netanyahu. Bibi is not even Jewish. So what does he look like? What does Bibi Netanyahu look like? Trump is not Jewish. What does he look like? Yeah, you got people running around saying they're Jewish and not. Exactly, he's not. So to say you can look at them and tell, who said that? Geek, zombie girl, you're a liar. You're a liar. And I think you intentionally came in and said that because you are a deflecting the truth. And I don't like liars, so get out. Get out. No, get out. I just nipped that in the bud real quick, didn't I? Yeah. Y'all double tap the face of your screen. Get the likes up. Yeah. You just came in here, deflected and lied and got caught. And now you gotta go. I'm not gonna keep saying double tap. She got her pass to get out real quick. Real quick. Yeah, I gave her a couple examples. Yeah, no, you gotta go. We don't want to hear from you again because you were a liar. Yeah, you're one of them. Yeah, you co-sign predators. No, and we are for the victims. Get out. You're deceitful. Oh, no, talking about you can look at them and tell. No, that is not true. Not true at all. Let's go.
It's some that accept Jesus, but they don't really in their heart. And you and I both know people like Rob McCoy who accepts it fully in their heart. And other people who are doing it without faith. And they're those who have less faith. The fact that a Jew exists, let alone thrives, is a threat to their faith, because how can the Jew not accept Jesus as God and still thrive? Unless he's associated with the devil. So you start having these myths that are created of the Jew being identified with the opposite of God. This really codifies in 1144 in Norwich, England, what's called the bloodline. This is really important to understand, especially today in 2024. In 1144, a young boy is killed, and the local priest says that's because the Jews need to make their matzah with Christian blood. It's called the bloodline. It's blame the problems of other people on the Jew. It's just so you know, that's so ridiculous, not only just on its face, but we're forbidden from even having meat that has any blood in it. This is a Torah law. You can't have, that's why, we can't have steak tartar. Okay? So this gets perpetuated, especially today in 2024. In 1144, a young boy is killed, and the local priest says that's because the Jews need to make their matzah with Christian blood. It's called the bloodline. It's blame the problems of other people on the Jew. It's just so you know, that's so ridiculous, not only just on its face, but we're forbidden from even having meat that has any blood in it. This is a Torah law. You can't have, that's why, we can't have steak tartar. Okay? So this gets perpetuated in combination with a 4th century, what's called the Vulgate.
I'm sorry, did you say in 1140 this happened?
1144 in Norwich, England.
Okay.
This is after, in the 4th century, you have something called the Vulgate. The Vulgate is the official translation of the Bible. In Hebrew, there's no vowels. And the person who translates St. Jerome, who translates the Vulgate, knows what he's doing is translating wrong. He puts down that when Moses comes down from Mount Sinai, he has horns. Okay, Karen, when actually the word was Karan, meaning that light shone from his head. So now, by 1144, you have the anti-Semitic myth of Jews have horns and they drink blood. And I know people who've been asked when they went into the army and other places, can I see your horns? So this still exists today in 2024 throughout America. And I don't mean just in little rural areas. It exists today, these myths. That Vulgate Bible is the official Catholic Bible all the way through the 1970s. So it is, you need to understand that that's a piece of it, okay? That they're equated with this kind of hate. Because it's about Jews not having the right to exist collectively, when they live in their little communities in the Middle Ages, anti-Semitism is a hate against their religion. By the time you get to the 18th and 20th centuries, when so many Jews have...
I thought they said that it was a hate against the Holocaust.
The Middle Ages, anti-Semitism is a hate against their religion. By the time you get to the 18th and 20th centuries, when so many Jews have assimilated, they are in culture, they are in arts, they're in science, it's no longer against them for their religion, it's against them for their race. This anti-Semitism is the oldest hate in the world, and the hate that mutates.
Okay, hold on, let's look at this. Hold on.
You said it's a hate that mutates.
Against the race. And again, it goes back to me. How do we know who it... Okay, hold on. I'm trying to get to...
You said it's a hate that mutates.
In the world, and the hate that mutates.
It's the oldest hate in the world, and the hate. Why is it the oldest hate in the world? Okay. But see, this is when it gets mixed up and confused. This is, to me, where it can be a mix-up. Because the original Jews are black or brown. So even with that, the black, brown, the golden, the original Jews don't use this word. So this is posing a problem for me, because this is also then that would mean that it's tied up into the whitewashing, the deceit, and the manipulation, because the original Jews are bronze. Interesting. So who created this? That's why a couple of weeks ago I asked about how old is this anti-Semitism? How old is it?
You said it's a hate that mutates.
Correct.
So your belief then is that the definition of anti-Semitism can necessarily change. Is that correct?
It's not just my belief. It is the commonly accepted understanding in both the Jewish and academic worlds.
Okay.
The Jewish.
Okay.
So,
as I said, that's why I quoted.
So why is it sometimes called Jewish and Jews? Because the original Jews are bronze. So Jewish and Jews, are they two separate? Because see, this is what happens when you start whitewashing and doctoring and changing things to fit your narrative. I mean, so should the Israelites, should they be using, when someone speak against us, and it's hate driven that mutates, should we be using the word anti-Semitic or whatever that mess is? I mean, should we, the originals, and they be calling us the N-word, should we throw, oh, that's anti-Semitic? Because we're the original Jews. Because see, now it's very confusing. Because one, they want us to think that, want us to believe that we should know the difference. Know the difference in what? Y'all should not have been doing all this whitewashing and rewriting history and facts and truth. So you want us to have a full understanding of a lie? Here we go again. Here we go again. That's why I don't want to learn the word. It's just like I didn't want to pronounce Netanyahu name, right? Because he ain't real. I don't want to get in my head how to pronounce shit that ain't real. You made that up. You made that up. I don't know what you mean, Lynn, so I'm finna remove your comment. Speak regular. Don't be coming in here with no sideways ass comments, because I'll get you out of here. In fact, how did you, these people, let me go and get your ass up out of here. Yeah, you are our people. You came from us. Yeah, you are part of the whitewash. We was here first, nigga. Yeah, I like calling them nigga. I like calling them that. Yeah, so they can understand that it ain't about black or white. Yeah, and you came from us. And if we won, you won. Yeah, these people. Yeah, you are from these people. Hell you mean? We was here first. Yeah. You cannot get black or brown from white. You understand? But you can damn sure get your color from ours. The hell you think you came from? Lynn. Nigga, you black. They know what it is. Absolutely. Yeah, they know. They just don't want us to know the truth. And they dang sure don't want nobody in here calling them that. Yeah. These people. Yeah, we the people. You came from us. Yes, indeed. And guess what? We came bearing gifts. Yeah. We had gold. And all the trinkets. All the natural herbs and oils and incense. We came bearing gold. You understand? You understand? Yeah. Y'all had, well, not y'all. Yeah. But once y'all skin tone started changing, y'all wanted to steal our shit. But you still came from us. Came from. You, your people, forgot where you came from. So it's time for y'all to remember that it was a lie. And there's always a truth. Yeah. Stop believing the hype. You ain't white. You black. You was black before you was white. You understand? Don't believe the hype. You ain't white. You black. Understand that. Let's go.
This is a quote. It's a great thing from Lord Sass, Jonathan Sass. It's a great thing from Nihilected. This is just accepted as the understanding of, I call it politics.
So I would just. Okay.
This isn't, okay. As I said, that's why I quoted. This is a quote. It's a great thing from Lord Sass, Jonathan Sass. It's a great thing from Nihilected. This is just accepted as the understanding of, I call it politics.
So I would just say off the bat, I do not accept that definitions can just mutate. That is something that I could debate that on, like the definition of a woman. I mean, and I'm saying not just about Jewish people. I think that we have to have a concrete definition to work with, because then you can just update and say, actually, I've changed that, and now this is what constitutes anti-Semitism.
But Candace, that is the horror of anti-Semitism. So what you are saying to me is that anti-Semitism is this and does not change. What I am saying to you is that the entire world and scholars about anti-Semitism recognize that it is a unique hate. That if you define it as that Jews should not be able to exist collectively, okay, as a collective, they shouldn't have that right. That changes from the Middle Ages with religion, the 18th through 20th centuries about race, and then after Israel's created, it's a hatred based on the nation.
After Israel is created. So after Israel is created, that means it's not original. At the point that it was created, then the bullshit comes with it. Excuse my French. Okay? All of this bullshit, all of this conniving, manipulative stuff, taking on identity, changing names, trying to get in, stealing land, you trying to be Christopher Columbus, all that stupid shit. You don't want to be exposed, so you throw up warnings. Zionism is naturalism is what I learned. Yeah. Let me finish listening.
That if you define it as that Jews should not be able to exist collectively, okay, as a collective, they shouldn't have that right. that changes from the Middle Ages with religion, the 18th through 20th centuries about race, and then after Israel's created, it's a hatred based on the nation. And until that is understood, that it is, this isn't something that's really questioned about among academics, theologians, Jewish scholars. I'm not presenting it. This is why I thought I'm so optimistic about a dialogue. But I think part of it is you view that the hate can't mutate. And what I'm trying to tell you is that we have 2,000 years of history that demonstrate the exact opposite.
So, and I'm gonna
Yeah, they should be trying to change history
gently
though.
here. For me personally, if I thought that racism could just be an ever-shifting definition based on the experience of Black people, it would be a remarkable power, and I would be able to create something like BLM, which could say that everything is racist. So I am not going to be able to agree that definition should be able to transform according to what's happening during the day. But here's what I will say. If you could, just because I think it's really important for us to get to going through this article.
Well, it's interesting that she said that. Let me stop. Because, again, a racism we could say have been going on forever. And since we are the original Jews, should we be using anti-Semitic? Why would that rule definition not apply to Black people, bronze people, the darker shade of people? Huh? So how you gonna pick that up when they started going north and the color started getting lighter? That's why y'all don't want to acknowledge that we are the originals, because y'all want that rule, these rules to apply once y'all started migrating and moving further and further away from the heat and the sun, and your colors start lighting up, and you know all of that there, and then you want to come back and claim. But no, these same rules need to apply to the original Jews. And that ain't y'all. I'm going by the titles that they put out. But they don't want to acknowledge us as Jews. Only person, long time ago, the first person that I remember back in the day, they used to say he was a Black Jew was Sammy Davis Jr. Is that his name? The little one-eye guy, the funny eye guy. It was a Sammy Davis Jr. Yeah. He used to call himself a Black Jew. He didn't say Israelite. He didn't do it like that. He was a Black Jew. Now at that time, I don't know what I thought. I didn't know I was kid, but I do remember that he was a Black Jew. I don't know if I thought that maybe, you know, the Frank Sinatra's them, you know, like he honorary. I don't know what I thought, but now that I am, deeply involved in it, interesting. And I'm wondering now why he didn't classify himself as an Israelite. Okay, so I have a problem. I think that since we are the original Jews, that should apply to us. And next time somebody come in here talking that talk, we need to remind them that that's anti-Semitic. that's yeah. Yes. Because why are y'all entitled to get that entitlement? Like y'all are like it's an honor, or it is a abomination, you know, that anybody questions you or asks you about. We're not in Europe or third world country. What that mean? We're not in Europe or third world country. What are you talking about, hot Nick? What you talking about? We're not talking about where you are right now. What you talking about? Get out. Get out. Get out. Yeah, you in denial. Yeah, you trying to deflect. He was one of the favorite celebrities. May he rest in peace. Yeah. Yeah. So, should I have said to him, that's anti-Semitic? Absolutely. And because they're saying that it's a form of racist. Well, why? Because of Holocaust? No, I don't believe that. I look at it as it's an excuse. It's an excuse, and because they went through hard times and people died, that also happened in slavery. So what's the difference? What happened to black people happened before the Holocaust. So, and because we are the original Jews, why should we not be able to get that same privilege? And I think, again, it's feeling like it's the fake ones, the 1948 ones, you know, that y'all already know I have a problem with. Because that's fake to me. So you are bypassing the truth when you only want to pick up at 1948 and make these adjustments. Well, what about the original Jews? They don't count. That's anti-Semitic. The original, oh baby, if the fake ones could use it, why can't the original ones use it? Oh, I mean, but it may not be because they have forgot that they changed the original, and that it was whitewashed. They have forgot that, so they are brainwashed, and they want us to continue to be brainwashed. But that has wore off, boo boo, and we got questions. So I get her. If black people can't hold the race card forever, then why can they hold the race card forever? And some of them are not even original. I get what she's saying, but I get her questioning, you know, because one thing is for sure: a liar, a narcissistic liar, a thief of countries don't want to be exposed. And the more her and Charlie Kirk, were especially her right now, I can see the death threats being on her life. I can, absolutely, I can. Yeah, but when they come in here, yeah, I'm gonna try to remember to tell these people you being anti-Semitic, and when they call us the N-word, before I call them the white nigga, I'm the white chocolate, yeah. I'm going to remind them that their comment is anti-Semitic because we are the original Jews. Yeah. Let's go.
If you could just give us what you are saying the current definition of anti-Semitism is today, that would be very helpful.
The current definition of anti-Semitism
oh, she's taking it serious.
Has to do with what feelings are.
Okay, then you go on to talk about me attacking Rabbi Shmuley. My audience has already seen him attacking me over the last 2 years. And I'm just going to ask you a basic question. Does a black person or any person have a right to defend themselves?
Absolutely.
When they are, okay, because that isn't
even up against the Jew.
attacked me and made videos of me
Jewish
for
person.
2 years straight. I have
Okay,
responded once, and you have now. You're basically saying that I'm anti-Semitic for responding. So I want your perception of when it is that a black person's allowed to respond.
So, Candace, so first of all, I know Shmuley peripherally. We've probably met a half a dozen times. Okay? He is an incredibly knowledgeable man.
That don't have nothing to do with being racist. I don't need his resume. That don't give him a pass. Yeah, that don't give him a pass. He's extremely intelligent and rude and disrespectful racist. Who gives a shit how nice he is to you? That's y'all problem. So you just dismiss everything that she said that happened to her.
And you have now, you're basically saying that I'm anti-Semitic for responding. So I want your perception of when it is that a black person's allowed to respond.
So, Candace,
when a black person is,
I know Shmuley.
I wish she would have said, I would, I'm on one now, they don't piss me off. I wish she would have said, when does an original Jew have the right to respond to a fake one? And why is it not anti-Semitic when an original black Jew responds to a fake white one?
The definition of anti-Semitism today has to do with what feelings are.
Okay, then you go on to talk about me attacking Rabbi Shmuley. My audience has already seen him attacking me over the last 2 years. And I'm just going to ask you a basic question. Does a black person or any person have a right to defend themselves when they are okay? Because that is interesting. Because Rabbi Shmuley and his daughter have attacked me and made videos of me for 2 years straight. I have responded once, and you have now. You're basically saying that I'm anti-Semitic for responding. So I want your perception of when it is that a black person's allowed to respond.
So, Candace, so first of all, I know Shmuley peripherally. We've probably met a half a dozen times. Okay? He is an incredibly knowledgeable man. He formed L'Chaim Society at Oxford. Incredibly knowledgeable man. And with 9 kids, right?
9 kids.
And we have something in Judaism, predates Christianity, but it's also Christianity as well to an extent, called Lashon Hara, the evil tongue. That to gossip, to say certain things like that
to lie
is really a huge avail.
Thank you, 5-star. Think about it.
I don't know all the things that he has said about you. I do know he's called you an anti-Semite, and so have I. That's not a personal attack on you and your family.
You fucking hypocrite. You are a hypocrite. And you are a piece of shit. Y'all can't handle a strong black woman. Y'all just cannot handle it. Because he's from Oxford and he's intelligent, he's called her that. But based off of what? Because she didn't agree? Or she asked questions? Because y'all have taken on identities, lied, tried to rewrite shit? Because y'all don't want to take ownership that y'all not chosen? So you're racist too. So somebody called you a racist, they're being anti-Semitic. No, we are being truthful. And you need a crutch. You need a crutch. Because y'all are based on lies and deceit. So you need a crutch. Because y'all can't handle with straightforward facts. You need a crutch. I get it now. You need a crutch to continue covering your lies.
A huge avera, it's a huge sin, it's a huge thing.
Swallow. Come up with a good one.
I don't know all the things that he has said about you. I do know he's called you an anti-Semite, and so have I. That's not a personal attack on you and your family.
Yes, it is.
For you to call a man who is extremely knowledgeable an unholy rabbi and his hag daughter, forgetting about what he may or may not have done.
Bullshit.
If he's attacked you personally, if he's said whatever horrific things about you personally, that you are a blankly, 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 blank.
If any of these rabbis are okay with the genocide and raping of kids and women and boys or whoever, they are absolutely unholy. And it ain't just the rabbis. It's everybody in the whole wide world. So if Rabbi Boo Boo Shoo Shoo Lulu is agreeing with it, she did not lie. He is unholy. And I don't think y'all want people to realize that y'all were anti-Christ. That's why y'all not chosen. And because y'all have rewrote the Bible, yeah, I'm not talking about take it out of the missing. I'm talking about a rewrite when y'all came out with these easy readings and new and improved, all of that shit. Y'all have forgot the truth. And it's just the bottom line. I can't stomach these people. I can't believe the entitlement. I just cannot. And they do not like women. And let alone a brown-skinned one. Yeah, but it's like you don't want to call the devil. I don't care what he put on the back of his head. I don't care how he covered his bald spot. I don't care if he pull out some kissy curls and curl it with the curling iron on the side. If he is a wolf in sheep clothing, that's exactly what he is. Some of those predators that have left the U.S. because they are Jewish, they got a fake ID and a fake passport, and they escaped prison and was switched off to Israel to continue to do what they was doing in the U.S. And they got the same little bald spot cover cap and the same little kissy curls on the side. Shirley Temple curls. Yeah. Y'all are covering pedophiles, PDFers, with Shirley Temple curls and a beanie. Bullshit. That ain't holy.
I don't know all the things that he has said about you. I do know he's called you an anti-Semite, and so have I. That's not a personal attack on you and your family. For you to call a man who is extremely knowledgeable.
Well, he's a knowledgeable predator.
And his hag daughter. Forgetting about what he may or may not have done.
No, I ain't forgetting about shit.
If he's attacked you personally, if he's said whatever horrific things about you personally, that you are a blankly, 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 blank, he's wrong. If he's attacked you or your children or your family, your mother. For you to, rather than comment on whatever he's done, to call him an unholy rabbi, that is way out of line. You don't even know what a rabbi's supposed to do.
So let me ask you a question. Do you view that as anti-Semitic for me to respond. So it's okay. So he can attack me for 2 years. Is he a racist? Just to be clear.
He's an anti-Semitic.
So what if I say that the definition of racism changes, and if you attack a black person, you're a racist?
Candace, you don't get to get away with that.
That's what you're doing.
You did say that you can't tell a black person. It's been 2 years consistently of him and his daughter attacking me, saying that.
I wasn't there. I'm asking you. I'm asking
Okay, but if you're saying that you weren't there, why would you put this into writing? Isn't it incumbent upon you to research what's happened before you start saying to me that defending myself is anti-Semitic?
The Daily Wire.
Oh, he couldn't handle that.
that
He started rolling his eyes. He was almost finna go into a coma when she was hitting him.
Isn't it incumbent upon
His eyes started rolling in the back of his head. She was hitting him with blows he couldn't handle. Holla, wait. No, you can't do that. Wait. No. Wait, holla. I feel like I'm finna start speaking in tongues. Hold up. Lord, hold up. You're coming too fast. The blows are beginning to hurt. You're about to uncover the truth. Throw your hands up in the air.
Okay, but if you're saying you weren't there, why would you put this into writing? Isn't it incumbent upon you to research what's happened before you start saying
Lord. His eyes start rolling in the back of his head. He almost saw some things he never wanted to see. Did y'all see them eyes roll? Oh Lord. Wait, what you saying to me? Candace, wait. Oh Lord, why did I come sit down with her? I watched them eyes.
I'm asking you all.
Okay, but if you're saying that you weren't there, why would you put this into writing?
Wait. When them little kids be saying, wait, mister, please. Whoa, wait, what are you doing? Yeah, same thing. Yeah, she kept coming. That's how them little kids be feeling.
Isn't it incumbent upon you to research what's happened before?
Look at them eyes. Them eyes will start rolling.
For you.
Look how calm she is. She calm, baby. She calm. And look at the storm over there. He finna have a seizure. Yeah, the demon don't want to come out. The demon is saying no. That holy water finna start coming out that jaw. Yeah, touch the forehead. Yeah, that all. Yeah, look at the devil. Look at them eyes. Look at the serpent.
Start saying.
Look how calm she is. Put your hand up. Put your hands down. Put your hands down. Yeah, put your hands down. Yeah.
Defending myself is anti-Semitic?
Yeah.
The Daily Wire doesn't believe that Shapiro wins the debate.
Shit, you a lie.
You think they believe that?
100%.
You a lie. You a lie. We know you a
What it
liar.
looks like to a lot of people, and I'm going to tell you this, and I'm expressing this, in case you are an individual, as I'm sure you are, that is concerned about the rise of anti-Semitism. But my suspicion is that people that are watching this are going to think that now we are using the word anti-Semitism like BLM began using racism, right? Which is to say that you cannot.
You a lie, that is.
I'm just telling you what I am going. This is my suspicion, and I have tons of Jewish listeners. But given what you've said about Dave Smith, who is a libertarian, he is not a far left liberal. He just does not support what Israel is doing. So in this, you have said that Jewish people. You've made comments about a lot of Jewish people who maybe don't agree with what's happening in Israel. You are now saying that a person who's being attacked for 2 years still needs to be careful on how they approach a Jewish person that's been doing the attacking. No one is going to accept that.
That is what you said. That is what you said. That is what you said.
Everything that anybody
That is what you said.
It needs to be first need to weigh it against
That is what you said.
of somebody and their history. I could find examples of black people being called witches. I can't then say that nobody can ever call a black person a witch. Even if it has what happened in Salem, you could go on and on, right? But the point is that if you're a black person, you've been attacked for 2 years. I don't care if a person calls him a rabbi. In fact, I would question what it means to be a rabbi. Maybe you can explain. If you have been consistently attacking and threatening somebody, literally, he gave a quote to the Jerusalem
He is
Post.
not holy.
Actually, I like the Jerusalem Post. They report on things very accurately, in which he says that he wants to bankrupt Candace Owens. That is a direct threat to somebody's livelihood. It is despicable, and because you call yourself a rabbi, it does not mean that people cannot say.
Oh, that shit, Candace, baby girl, I saw Shanae. I just saw Shanae. I just saw Shanae. Candace Precious. I just saw Shanae. Let's go roll it, nigga.
Literally, he gave a quote to the Jerusalem Post, which actually I like the Jerusalem Post. They report on things very accurately, in which he says that he wants to bankrupt Candace Owens. That is a direct threat to somebody's livelihood. It is despicable, and because you call yourself a rabbi, it does not mean that people cannot say that it is clearly ridiculous that you are using finances.
That was the bougie shit, Shanae.
That is a direct threat to somebody's livelihood. It is despicable, and because you call yourself a rabbi, it does not mean that people cannot say that it is clearly ridiculous that you are using finances as a mode of threat against people because you don't like their speech. It is ridiculous, and let me tell you what, that leans into an anti-Semitic trope about Jewish people and money.
Oh, that head went back that time. It rolled up here.
You could go on and
it was
on,
rolling,
right?
and then it went
the point
back.
Is that if you're a black person, you've been attacked for 2 years. I don't care if a person calls him a rabbi. In fact, I would question what it means to be a rabbi. Maybe you can explain. If you have been consistently attacking and threatening somebody, literally, he gave a quote to the Jerusalem Post, which actually I like the Jerusalem Post. They report on things very accurately, in which he says that he wants to bankrupt Candace Owens.
Roll your neck, girl.
That is a direct threat to somebody's livelihood. It is
from the left to the right.
And because you call yourself a rabbi, it does not mean that people cannot say that it is clearly
just because you call yourself a rabbi.
Finances as a mode of threat against people because you don't like their speech. It is ridiculous, and let me tell you what, that leans into an anti-Semitic trope about Jewish people and money. For a rabbi to stand up and say, let's bankrupt her.
Over me all day, you can scream.
I'm not speaking. I've let you talk a lot. That's not fair. I've let you talk a lot.
The Daily Wire doesn't believe
you a lie.
Shapiro wins the debate with Candace Owens.
Oh yeah,
you think they believe 100? Otherwise,
they don't believe. They do not believe he
And
wins. I believe that.
attacks
Yes.
are strongly discouraged. I want to give you both the chance to make an opening statement.
Now they don't believe he won. That's
you
what.
won the toss. We didn't really actually toss, but you both agreed you could do this. You go first. Your opening remarks.
Thank you, Pierce, for having me.
Is this the rabbi?
Candace, thank you for debating me. I have spent my life bringing together the black and Jewish communities, emphasizing that we share not only a history of shared persecution, but of spiritual promise.
It was going to start.
An American tragedy, a woman of unique eloquence who has abused that eloquence to become simultaneously the foremost anti-black rhetorician in all of the United States and the foremost anti-Semite in America. The statements that Candace has made against her own community, that they cry wolf and constantly say that they're victims of racism. Her attacks on George Floyd, a man who was suffocated to death for a $20 counterfeit note saying that he was a horrible human being. A woman who went up in front of
I
CPAC
get
and said,
that.
I was never a slave in America, as if that's the only form of discrimination, is what has led her community to call her not Candace, but Clandis. To call her not Candace, but Clandis.
To call her not Candace, but Clandis.
The first ever female black woman who appears in her rhetoric against blacks, calling LeBron James dumb and stupid, and an icon to the black community, as Clandis. Simultaneously, you have the Jewish community beginning to call her not Candace Owens, but Candace Ovens, because her Goebbels-style rhetoric against Jews, that Jews are nearly all pedophiles. The State of Israel will set up a Theodor Herzl, a pedophile, as a haven for pedophiles. That Judaism is a demonic, satanic cult that only protects pedophiles. And by the way, her absolute obsession with Jewish sexuality and Jewish genitalia, the first lady of France, Brigitte Macron's genitalia, is disturbing. It's one of the reasons I think she hates Sigmund Freud so much, because she's a Freudian field dream in terms of his arguments that the greater the sexual suppression and repression, the greater we see
Where it's
violence.
proven that she has a penis.
Wait, just one final point.
So Candace will get exactly the same amount of time. It's up to you, but it's an opening statement, right? And what I would say...
May I just say finally, if I may?
Well, if it's quick,
The biggest issue I have with Candace, to be honest, is that she claims to be a Christian. Candace, didn't Jesus say you're supposed to love your enemies? Is the love you show me that you call me filth twice on the last show that you did with Pierce a piece of filth? You're supposed to love your enemies. Is that turning the other cheek? And Pierce, you're an English gentleman. I've known you for many years. You allowed her to say that without even a piece of filth. When Jesus said that you're supposed to turn the other cheek, where have you ever turned the other cheek? When Jesus said that the meek shall inherit the earth, the arrogance, the nonstop attack against
see,
Jews,
but so now you
if you are a Christian, then I am the second coming of Christ.
Okay.
The Daily Wire doesn't believe that Shapiro wins the debate with Candace Owens.
You think they believe that?
100. Otherwise, there's no reason to do it.
Here's what I would like to say to you, Rabbi, since you're quoting scripture, okay? The one that's relevant to me is, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness. And if you'd like to dive into a little more scripture, I think what's relevant is Revelation 3:9. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. And I'm speaking directly to you, Rabbi Shmuley.
The Daily Wire doesn't believe that Shapiro wins the debate with Candace Owens.
You think they believe that?
100. Otherwise, there's no reason to do it.
You can criticize Netanyahu without being anti-Israel, and you can criticize Israel without being anti-Semitic. But some of the themes, talking points, concepts you've used in your criticism of Israel,
I saw that.
I'm very familiar with from covering white nationalists for 10 years. It's very unsettling for me to hear things like you saying our government is occupied by Zionists, Trump is occupied by Zionists, we're an occupied nation.
That's true.
Because, there's literally a term that's like an 80s, 90s term from white nationalists.
She looking at her like, girl, I'm finna eat your ass up.
It's their idea that Jews control the world. And I'm wondering, are you intentionally...
Jews control the world. Which Jews? The original ones? Huh? Or the whitewashed ones? Yeah. Which Jews, little girl? Yes, she have. That's why I forgive that too. Again, it's the easiest way for me to address that is the renewing of the mind. At the renewing of the mind and her coming more into Christ and changing her views and mindset once the truth is exposed. Yeah, so that happens every day. And I have an opinion about black people too. Where I'm going to say sometimes the browner, the closer to bronze people, we all black. She black too. This little girl right here, she just a lighter shade of black. Yeah. We actually know some people who has her skin tone and her color. Yeah. We all black, but I understand what you mean, and I understand that she was a part of a cult, and she believed it. But in all fairness, I somewhat agree with her to a small degree. I do think a lot of times black people use their race card when they should not use it, and they use it sometimes when they are in the wrong. Sometimes they wrong, and because they get janked around or a manhandled, they come back and say it's the race card, and they don't want to take ownership of their part. I've seen it. I'm not gonna act like it don't happen. There are a lot of times I see when people are being apprehended and they don't follow commands. I'm not talking about like right now where it's just evil and it is the KKK, but I'm saying there are commands that should be followed that at times we don't. And even if we think somebody is wrong in what they're doing, there is a process and a procedure for that we don't always do. So I agree with that. Sometimes I do think black people feel entitled to not follow the law. So what does that mean? I don't know. It don't mean that black lives don't matter. I do feel like black lives need to matter to black people first before we expect for the lighter skinned black people, and I'm speaking on the shade of white, it needs to matter to us before we can ever expect for it to matter to them. Because if it matters to us first, then some things we wouldn't do if we would stand together more, and we don't. That's just my opinion.
Are you intentionally referencing those kind of themes?
Wait, just to slow this down. Are you accusing me of white national?
Our government is occupied by Zionists. Trump is occupied by Zionists.
That's the truth.
Occupied nation. Because, like, there's literally a term that's like an 80s, 90s term from white nationalism, ZOG, Zionist occupied government. It's their idea that Jews control the world. And I'm wondering, like,
That's true.
Are you intentionally
the fake Jews
referencing those kind of themes?
Wait, just to slow this down. Are you accusing me of white nationalist rhetoric? Because I do have to have a little bit of a giggle about that first.
Well, I mean, to me, I'm also like, they'd be no fan of yours.
It's silly. But this is one of the things where I feel like it's such a lesson for CNN. This is why nobody watches it anymore. I mean, it's like you're sitting across from a black person, you're like, I've learned about white nationalism, and you're using white nationalism, right?
I know them, I've been to their rallies, I've read all their texts.
I get it, I know. I'm so glad you're educated. But this is when it's like, put it in a book and anybody will say it. It's like, it's just, at a certain point you have to use your eyes and go, is Candace Owens promoting white nationalist rhetoric? Okay, immediately no. So what else could it be? Could it be that actually Zionism is what it actually represents?
What does that mean? Like,
Zionism is a political philosophy.
Zionist occupied government.
If you look into the history, yes, I believe we are a Zionist occupied government, and we're not the only one. Okay, yes, and I take it to the bank. If you need to walk out of here and say Candace Owens is a white nationalist for you to be able to digest it, then that's fine. You know, you have to deal with that in your own time. But what I will say is, I stand by every statement that I made, and I want to double down on it. Okay, America is occupied by Zionists.
How does she think that was going to go?
I don't need to always like say they. Like it's just a weird. It's like this is one of these psychology tactics. Where you're like, who is they? Who is they? And it's like
because it sounds like you're saying Jews.
Does the word they mean Jews?
When you're talking about Jews, yes.
But if I'm not talking about Jews, then
girl, open your eyes.
When I say they want us to believe this or they want us to believe that, and you hear Jews, that's your own derangement, right? If I want to say something about Jews, I'll say it. If I want to say something about Israel, I will say it. If I want to, just like when I want to say something about black people, I'll say it. When I was saying during BLM, they want us to believe, nobody said, do you mean Jews? And so, again, it's one of these trash tactics to make people fearful to speak. If I want to say Jews, I will say Jews. I don't fear saying Jews. When I say Zionists run the media, I mean Zionists run the media. People that support the political ideology of Israel run the media. Any other things that I can help clarify?
But are you familiar with this like very long-standing trope?
Couldn't give a shit about a trope.
What's your thoughts? Please be respectful with your comments. Also, please click.
What are my thoughts? My thoughts is she ate y'all asses up. My other thought is, though she is politically astute, yes, she is politically astute, she's still a sister. When she needs to be. Okay. And when she needs to be politically astute, I mean, and she talks, you know, like real proper, real kind of, you know, we used to call it Valley Girl. Yeah. She can. But make no mistake about it, she can read with an attitude of a sister. And y'all can't handle that. She want it hands down. Hands down. You gotta bow. That's why that Shapiro Sharpo guy, you know, that wants to talk to Megyn Kelly, refused to take the debate. Yeah, I was misunderstanding Chris Como. Yeah, they know that he could not win with Candace. So they started playing behind the scenes, trying to tarnish probably the ones who contacted, added money on the hit to make the pot grow, because she eats asses up. And she did do that. Okay, one last one before we go. I know it's late. What time is it? What time is it, baby? She ate and spit it out. Oh, yes, I like seeing that head shake, the hair. Okay. Are you asking me? You sure you want to rumble with the bee? You sure you want to rumble with the bee? Are you sure that's what you... Because I'm going to sting you, and it's going to hurt. And she's stunned. Tat ass. Yeah, she's stunned. Tat ass. Y'all hit the like button. I got one more to go before we go to sleep. And it's going to, again, go into Brigitte. Why does it say leave the site? Hold on. Oh, yeah, ta-da, she spawned. She ate. She ate that ass up. Where is that the one? Oh, I was down here. Yeah, I don't know where it's at. Let's just go right here. Yes, she ate. And spit it out. Yes. Hold on. Get the likes up. Get the likes up. I hope they know she done. Oh, whatever evidence she have, I know they know that she has sent it to places for it to come out just like Ogur did. Virginia, that Virginia girl. Where is it at? Ooh, excuse me. Go here and then go there.
Stop blowing all your money on dozens. Surely she must have tried to get many more photos as a, quote, inveterate party girl in an ultra small kilt who was Macron the best. It reads, what does conspiracy theorist Candace Owens' absurd and transphobic investigation on Brigitte Macron, which is a hit on YouTube, contain? I like that they admit that it's a hit on YouTube. And also, just a question back to them, how can I be transphobic if Brigitte Macron is not trans? Weird. Also, this other publication that's mentioned here, Marianne, right at the bottom, they may have jumped the gun a bit because it says there at the bottom, quote, all the contemporary theories are covered, pedophilia, satanic delusions, or even false identity. I haven't yet made any claims about a false identity. Weird. What do they know that we don't know? I mean, it just seems like the press might know something that the public doesn't know, so we should probably find out what that might be. Welcome back to our series, Becoming Brigitte. All right, guys, I have a fun one for you today. We're taking a break from the very dark world of Brigitte. We did not even cover all of the pedophile stories, but we're just going to take a brief break from that. One of the biggest mainstream media lies, okay, is that the rumors surrounding Brigitte were developed by far-right conspiracy theorists. They keep throwing that word out. It's a conspiracy, as though somebody put together a thread on Reddit or on the dark web, and that's the reason why people just started believing everything. That is not true. It could not be further from the truth. So I'm going to recap for you what actually went down in France. It's important to know this. The press, as we mentioned yesterday, intentionally spun a tale of an irresistibly hot and bold Brigitte Macron, who was constantly pushing back against the conformity of her stale Catholic upbringing all throughout her life, okay? I'm actually going to read you verbatim some of the published lines from that time because it is funny. It's actually funny to read how much the mainstream media just lies to us all the time, okay? Quote, around the age of 14 or 15, Brigitte gets bolder. She swaps her navy blue uniform from the austere Sacred Heart School in Amiens, pleated skirt, sweater, and tights, for small shorts and a mini skirt. For a while, she can forget about her schooling, constrained by Catholic discipline. Here's another one. She loves to dance at the surprise parties of the time. She wears tight miniskirts, and between 2 glasses of whiskey and Coke and wild rock and roll songs, she dares to flirt behind the curtains. So just imagine what is coming into your mind as I read these publications about her growing up, okay? Here's another one describing Brigitte as a, quote, inveterate party girl in an ultra small kilt who was into rock dancing to the music of John Lee Hooker until dawn. A rather hectic adolescence, the opposite of the quiet Emmanuel. Another writer wrote, quote, the youngest of the Trogneau family has always struck a chord with the public, with her contagious good humor, her taste for partying, and her often funny, down-to-earth way of speaking. Again, of course, the goal of all of that was to soften her for having seduced a 14-year-old Emmanuel Macron, right? Rather, we're supposed to imagine in our minds that Macron had simply hit the jackpot, right? He fulfilled the fantasy of every boy his age because he got to sleep with that hot teacher, okay? And they reinforce this narrative by inserting sometimes anonymous quotes from former colleagues of Brigitte and alleged classmates of Emmanuel. Again, what I'm about to read to you are real quotes that were published in the mainstream press about Brigitte's teaching days, okay? Quote, Brigitte's class can't believe that the French teacher is celebrating her 40th birthday today. She looks so young in her short skirts and casual manner. To capture the attention of the most dissipated, the teacher has another, less academic asset, her legs showcased in tiny skirts. Brigitte didn't wait to become the first lady to take great care of her appearance. Quote, she was a pleasure to look at, not just listen to, always with perfect hairdressing, with makeup and perfumed, one student recalls. The boys are seduced. The girls take her as a role model. All the high school students were in love with her, says Frederique from Emmanuel's class. And from her very vocal daughter, Tifon, the only child that seems to really defend Brigitte Macron, she included this, quote, when I was a child, I was even jealous of all the students who wrote to her or called her at home.
Are you a low-skilled worker looking to immigrate to Canada? Look no further. This video will discuss the top 5.
Then there is another teacher who spoke and went a little bit further. They said, quote, Brigitte arrived at La Providence wearing mini tailleurs. That's like a mini skirt and with a jacket, right, a sports coat. Beautiful, a pinup. One student stresses, we were all in love with her. Well, you guys, if the mainstream media says it's true, I guess it's case closed. We might as well stop this investigation. What do you want? Hottie with a body. Man, I sure hope I look like whatever that was at the age of 40. People drooling over themselves. But it didn't stop there. The case wasn't really closed because in 2018, okay, what happens next is a woman named Mayelle Brune, she was then the head of the celebrities department at the magazine Closer, published the quote-unquote official biography of Brigitte Macron.
Y'all better listen. Y'all see
Macron La Franchie. Okay.
Oh Lord, what is that? Y'all look at Janet's post. Get your membership because AunTeaFee will eventually start members only. Hot tea. If you can't get the likes up, y'all better hear her. It's 434 people in here, and the likes ain't nowhere near it. Double tap the face of the phone in which you are listening and watching. It's free. Just double tap, just like that, on your phone. Or at the very top, right on your computer or tablet, there are 3 dots. 1, 2, 3. They're on top of each other. 1, 2, 3. Tap it. Get to the like button. It's really easy. Just like that. Or at the bottom, there's a little gift box down there. You can send some jewels and gems or super chat, super sticker, whichever is best for you. But I'm asking right now to double tap the face of your screen on your phone. Get the likes up. Or hit the 3 dots. Oh! Oh! Thank you. Somebody hit the gems. Somebody hit the gems. Let's see.
Which means in English, the
hold on.
Wow.
Let's see who hit the thank you. Who sent the thank you? Thank you. Harvey. Thank you, Harvey, for the thank yous. He said, keep it going. He said, don't stop. Keep it going. Okay, let's keep it going. So listen, this right here really is a cute picture of her baby, but when I tell you, so I guess at this point she got her teeth fixed, and I don't know, maybe she had gotten a facial. I don't know, but this right here, that's a no. But let's keep going because they said pin up, right? We heard pin up. She was beautiful back in the day. Everybody was at awe. She was, oh my God, when she came, she was just all eyes on Brigitte. Let's go.
Brigitte Macron La Franchie, okay? which means in English, quote unquote, official biography of Brigitte Macron, which was entitled Brigitte Macron La Franchie, okay? Which means in English,
Oh,
the
well,
freed
thank you,
woman. Look at that
Jody.
cover. Wow, she's free, amazing. Look at that face, she's happy, she's glowing. And it was essentially really a book that was just a regurgitation, or rather a compilation of everything that I just said to you, everything that had already been published. And I'll tell you why this was immediately considered a departure from previous authorized biographies of a first lady or a
Hi,
president.
Charlene.
And that's because there was
Charlotte,
absolutely
yeah.
no pictures provided of Brigitte Macron as a child, and there were no pictures provided of her as a young mother. In fact, the earliest picture, okay, in this authorized biography was from 1993, when Brigitte was already teaching by that time at the Providence School. So here it is. This is the earliest photo that they included. Wait a second. Okay.
Wow.
So the caption beneath that photo read, Brigitte Ozier is 40. She's...
Look at them teeth. Wow. This the pinup, y'all.
married. She's the mother of 3. She's quite appreciated at the high school where she teaches. She's about to make the encounter that will cause an upheaval. Of her life. Okay, so they just went ahead and decided to erase the first 40 years in this official biography. Then 6 months later, in June of 2018, a woman by the name of Virginie Lienhardt, who normally focused on creating documentaries about World War II and the Holocaust, essentially turned the book, a biography of Brigitte, into a documentary, which was entitled Brigitte Macron ou...
The truth is, not every child gets the chance to go to the movies. In North America alone, more than 20 million kids may...
Un roman français, which just means a French novel. And that was released on the France 3 channel. Now, I should mention to you that this is a government-owned channel, okay? It was created in 1969 by the Office of the President. This is like PBS, BBC. Okay, we are not in conspiracy land. This is a reputable woman, Virginie Lienhardt, who makes documentaries. And of course, documentaries are supposed to include a ton of photos. Think about whatever you were watching when you were coming up. For me, maybe Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera documentaries, just filled with photos when you are watching this and you're seeing their siblings and you're seeing them at Disney World and you're seeing them, doing whatever was normal for the time that they were growing up. A Michael Jackson documentary, right? Tons of photos and siblings. And by the way, I want to be clear, Virginie Lienhardt did have tons of photos. Just, almost all of them, again, from Brigitte's teaching days, beginning in 1986 in Strasbourg and ending in Paris in 2015. So I'm going to show you the photos that were in this documentary. First, just showing you this collage, actually, of all of the photos. There you have it. And Mark, I don't know if you need to take me out of that so they can see the full thing. Wait, okay. What's going on here? Because I was reliably informed that Brigitte Ozier was a hot, sexy pinup girl with irresistible legs who wore miniskirts. The kind of woman that the boys just couldn't look away from. What is
her milkshake bring all
fellas?
the boys
Should I
to
check
the
chat
yard?
here? Are you guys, is it getting nasty in the chat? Because I'm not seeing it. I am just not seeing that teacher. Also, where are the miniskirts? Actually, she seems strangely to be wearing a scarf in a lot of these authorized photos. Why was she always covering her neck? That's kind of weird. Here, I'll give you guys some close-ups of that. Maybe you guys are not thinking she's hot. There it is, guys, fellas. Honestly, the guy to the left of her is better looking, in my opinion. I don't know what's happening here. More photos, maybe? Maybe this one, guys? Guys are making some not nice faces here in the chat.
Pin up.
We'll keep going.
Everybody want her. Everybody.
There it is.
Everybody want her.
There it is not.
A first choice, baby.
These are the ones from the documentary.
She a dime. She a bad man.
Okay, I don't know where the pinup girl is. I'm sorry, guys. I
What's
feel like
that
I've let you down.
song? Just as fine as she could be. She's a bad mamma jamma. Oh, why do men think they have the right to be nasty? She a bad mama jamma. Everybody wanted her. Sexiest thing walking in the school. What's that old song? What's that old? Was that the Commodores? She's a brick. Who sung that? House. Just mighty, letting it all hang out. 36, 24, 36. Is she a 36, 24, 36? Ow, what a winning hand. Wow.
Maybe there's going to be some sexy pinup girl. Where's the next one? Ah, there it is. Nope, there it is not. Skylar, are you only these are the ones in the documentary? Maybe my producer made a mistake.
Commodores, yeah.
Okay, I don't know where the pinup girl is. I'm sorry, guys. I feel like I've let you down. Anyways, Virginie Linhart, the documentary maker, like I said, is well respected. So surely she must have tried to get many more photos before
and
Brigitte's
she really
teaching
thought
years.
that she was going to win this case.
Then that would have been the first thing she would have tried to do. Interestingly enough, she spoke out regarding just how difficult it was for her to make the documentary. She said, and I quote, "It's difficult to investigate Brigitte Macron, much more than I imagined, on the substance, on the form, on everything. As soon as I started making contacts, I was summoned by Pierre-Olivier Costa, Brigitte's chief of staff, and Tristan Bromet, Brigitte's other chief of staff. It was almost like a police interrogation. What do I want to show? Who will I be interviewing? I made a list of people that I wanted to meet, but I could not apply that list. The interviewees, apart from her former students, all had the authorization of the Élysée Palace and were very careful about what they said. There was a thick wall of silence. The level of control and checking is, well, quite astounding. My documentary is a 90-minute, very personal portrait. For it, I needed photographs of young Brigitte Macron, small children, that would show an itinerary, not those approved by Best Image Agency. What won't be released is anything to do with her former life. It's a total blackout." End quote.
Let me ask you something. What if Own Nothing and Be Happy is not a future prediction, but a present reality?
Oh, Best Image Agency. Now, didn't we just go over that yesterday? That's Mimi's agency that was authorizing the photos that were allowed to go out. So apparently, Mimi's agency authorized the photos that could go out for this documentary as well. Now, Virginie Linhart did, however, receive 2 photos from Brigitte's alleged childhood. One, the public was told, was from Brigitte, then Trogneau, would have been her last name, her first communion. And I'm going to show you that photo. Here it is. And another photo, now infamous photo, of the entire Trogneau family, allegedly taken about a year after Brigitte's birth, okay? That is the full Trogneau family photo, which we will come back to. So now really all that was missing from that photo of her communion until the school photos, which appear in 1986, was 23 years of Brigitte's life, the most crucial years of her life. You know, like, I don't know, her being a teenager, her getting married at 21, her allegedly having 3 babies, her getting married to a banker named Andre Louis Ozier, who was her husband of 32 years. Like, I don't know. Do people not take photos of them and their husbands in France? I don't know. Virginie Linhart actually referred to Andre Louis Ozier, Brigitte's alleged husband of 32 years, as the French Republic's best kept secret. And certainly, you guys, it appeared that way. Because at the time that the documentary was released, there was only 1 photo that was available of her ex-husband that had even made its way onto Wikipedia as her ex-husband. There it is, Andre Louis Ozier. And you can see it has his date of birth, and it has his date of death, and it has the dates that they were married from 1974 to 2006. All of that is correct, except for the photo itself. Yeah, could you pull that up again? That photo, it turned out, was not actually Andre Louis Ozier, because a former student who had gone on to become a politician, his name is Francois Ruffin, also went to Providence School, and he came out and said, "That's not Andre Louis Ozier. That's Mr. Hugo, teacher at the school. Oopsies." Whatever. But I gotta tell you, that oopsie did make the public think, what's going on here, man? This is kind of getting weird. It's a little weird, okay? And I have to tell you guys, there was some immediate feedback from the public. Some early musings, if you will, about the two photos, which had been released from Brigitte's alleged childhood. Foremost, the communion photo caused a bit of a stir, because many felt that it was a dead ringer, that photo, not of First Lady Brigitte Macron, who was side by side here, Brigitte Ozier, and her alleged communion photo. They didn't feel like that was strong, but they did feel that it was a dead ringer.
That's not her.
For her very chatty daughter, Tafon. They thought,
that's her.
That looks like Tafon, okay? And like I said, she was the only daughter, the only child of Brigitte that was willing to participate in the documentary. She was willing to speak to Virginie for like an hour. And like
this
I
is
said,
crazy,
it doesn't
y'all.
help that Best Image, the photo agency, had supplied the image. People were wondering, and I will include myself in this, was it perhaps edited? No. Mimi, as we learn later on, has been accused of a lot of forgery and stuff and all sorts of crimes, man. You gotta look into Mimi Marchand, so it's not like totally crazy to wonder if maybe she's being used, because she does play around a bit and she's willing to do crimes, you know? So yeah, it was in fact, my musings about that was one of the areas of nitpick, one of the areas that the Macrons had included when they initially sent me the first strongly worded letter, because I had claimed on a show dating back to March of last year that the photo was recolorized. I looked at it and I said, that photo looks too new. It looks like it's recolorized. Now, and I was just getting into this bizarre story, and so I was just investigating, asking questions, reading other people's investigations. Now I'm a lot deeper on the facts, and I now know for a fact that that photo was not recolorized, okay? Similarly, at the beginning when I was trying to understand this case, I had asked Xavier Poussard about the theory, which a lot of people were wondering, which was, did the real Brigitte Trogneau die when she was a child? And did perhaps Brigitte Macron take her identity? Again, that was a theory that was floating around the internet. And I now know for a fact that no, she did not die when she was a child.
Subaru is the largest.
She couldn't have, because she had kids.
Foundation, helping to protect our
No,
parks
it
for
wasn't when
future
she was a
generations.
child. She had already had
So let's
kids.
go back actually and take a look at their first carefully worded legal letter to me. And this is their repeat strategy. I'm going to keep reminding you of this. The way that they sue people, the way that they go after people in court, is they ignore the substance of the claims. Substance being, was current First Lady Brigitte Macron born a biological male? It's a simple yes or no question. And instead of attacking that, they wait for people to make a mistake as they try to garner the answer. And of course, mistakes will be made. Of course, you could say this photo is recolorized, and they go, boop, go after her. Go after her. If she suspects saying that Brigitte Trogneau died as a child, go after her. So this is the legal letter. We'll show you that. They wrote, your discrediting of these photos is not only without merit, but also internally inconsistent. In your episodes on March 11th and March 13th and June 17th, you claimed that the first communion photo is an altered image of Tafone Ozier. However, in your August 30 podcast, you agreed with Poussard that the photo depicts the real Brigitte Trogneau before she passed away at a young age, another falsehood. Now, I want to be very clear, Xavier Poussard has never said that Brigitte Trogneau passed away at a young age, but I may have asked him the question and was speculating about whether or not she passed away, which they claim is another falsehood. And then they say both hypotheses could not be further from the truth. Moreover, you allege that the first communion photo had been debunked repeatedly and that the press now states its attribution to Mrs. Macron was a mistake.
Yep, Harvey.
You have not cited any outlets or articles retracting the photo. Surely you would provide this devastating proof if you had it, but you do not. Okay. Doing a little dance there. Why do they not just simply state, who the person in the communion photo is. Why not just say plainly, if you're going to write a legal letter, Candace, the person in this communion photo is not Tifone Ozier, and the photo is not recolorized, and it is, in fact, First Lady Brigitte Macron. They don't do that. They never do that. Why not also simply state what the truth is, rather than saying that the hypotheses are far from the truth? So, of course, now we're like a year on. I'm now armed with a much fuller picture of what happened, what the truth might really be. And so my legal team, as you remember, included a very straightforward yes or no question back to them, back to the couple, in good faith, regarding the girl in the communion photo. And we wrote this, number 4. Is the little girl pictured in the communion photograph, allegedly from 1963, the Brigitte Macron that is currently married to President Macron? You guys know what happens next. No response. No response. They're angry. You said it was recolorized. You said Brigitte Trogneau had died when she was a child. That's defamation. That's defamation. But we can't tell you what the truth is. They knew by then, in terms of how specific my questions were getting, they knew that I was on to them, that I had worked through the investigation, that I had arrived at more correct conclusions, that I was doing less musing, okay? Not for a single second did we believe that they were going to answer our questions, and they have not yet. They just send us more letters and more ridiculous things where they don't assert what the truth actually is. Now, regarding the second photo of Brigitte's alleged childhood, which the documentary presented, let's take a look at it so you can understand what was so explosive about it. This full
I have no idea why he's proud of
family
hiding.
Trogneau photo of them in Amiens, okay? Observations, again, were immediately made by the public. People are allowed to think. They are allowed to have thoughts. They are allowed to ask questions, okay? First and foremost, people thought they were being told that Brigitte is this little girl in the lap of her mother sitting here in the front. But the public, just quickly taking a glance
That
here,
is not the little
wait
girl.
a second,
That's him.
Brigitte looks more like that little boy on the far left. And wait a second, who is that little boy on the far left? He's completely unaccounted for. Thus far, okay, leading up to this moment, despite so much press surrounding Brigitte, her life, her married life, her being a teacher, despite entire genealogical websites that were dedicated to her family, there was no mention on these genealogical websites or in the press of the boy on the far left, okay? So that became the dog that wasn't barking, okay?
Mm-hmm.
For clarity, there had been only one brother that was publicly accounted for, Brigitte's older brother. We'll show you a picture again. He is the one standing in the back. That is Jean-Claude. And the interested public were now being introduced suddenly to a second mysterious brother, and they would find out that his name was Jean-Michel Trogneau. I'm going to take a brief pause here before I bring in Emmanuel Macron's strange story. First, just to throw it to one of our amazing
Emmanuel got a
sponsors,
strange
Preborn,
story
because if you want to
too.
hear some great news, the abortion pill reversal treatment, vegetables, that is it, and we could all use more of that. I don't know what I did wrong here by presenting it to the world so that they could see that something weird has been going on in France for quite some time, and rather than the public, or rather the mainstream media being interested in it, they just keep smearing everybody as like far-right conspiracy theorists. Every journalist I've mentioned thus far is on the left. In fact, many of these people were excited about giving Brigitte a platform because they themselves are feminists. And finally they said, let me profile this woman. And then they realized something is very wrong here. Something I cannot, why am I being called in to the Elysee Palace? What have I done wrong? Why does this feel like a police interrogation? I'm just trying to ask some questions. But it's not just Brigitte. Now let's discuss Emmanuel Macron's biography because it's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting, this guy.
I have no idea who came up with that.
So they just a strange couple.
It's 2020.
Don't tell me he was a girl. Oh, Lord.
Shows that he, like Brigitte, was born in Amiens. Amiens is the capital town or city within the department of Somme, okay? So in France, they call these departments. I like to think of departments as states, if you're from America. And so think of Amiens as the capital of the state of Somme. Amiens also has a ton of history dating back to the Middle Ages because it is the ancient capital of Picardy, which Just to be clear, that just means like northern France. I'm telling you that for a reason. Now, jumping back into his biography, I am now going to read directly from journalist Xavier Poussard's forthcoming book, which we should be announcing for you guys this week. He writes, quote, Emmanuel Macron remains a mystery to those who went to school with him.
Emmanuel.
His former classmates
The
describe
president,
him
okay.
as, quote, the only one we didn't know anything about, neither where he spent his vacations nor what his parents did for a living. They describe him as a loner, not much socialized, not gathering others around him. Later, weird.
Y'all double tap. Double tap. Double tap the face on your screen. Double tap if you're on your phone, or use the 3 dots at the top right to hit the like button. So Emmanuel have some issues with his past too. Oh yeah, so it wasn't just her. If she started digging in his past, I see why they really want her to.
Guys, we're just warming up. So it feels like we're falling down a hole. I'm not sure why. It's weird. And again, these are all mainstream journalists, so I don't know what I did wrong here by presenting it to the world so that they could see that something weird has been going on in France for quite some time. And rather than the public, or rather the mainstream media, being interested in it, they just keep smearing everybody as like far-right conspiracy theorists.
Again, before I think this is where I started falling asleep, because I think that his secret upbringing and who he is gonna begin to feel like Epstein to me. My nose is getting stopped up. What did I eat? I wasn't supposed to eat. It's beginning to sound like Epstein. Oops, I'm sorry. I'm trying to see what I done done. Hold on. Oh Lord, let me put. Hold on. There we go. Ooh, y'all was about to see something y'all was not supposed to see. My goodness. Yeah, he's beginning to sound like Epstein. Because they never ever say anything about Epstein or where he came from. Other than he popped up. And Donald Bill Barr dad, got him a job.
Every journalist I've mentioned thus far is on the left. In fact, many of these people were excited about giving Brigitte a platform because they themselves are feminists. And finally they said, let me profile this woman. And then they realized something is very wrong here. Why am I being called in to the Elysee Palace? What have I done wrong? Why does this feel like a police interrogation? I'm just trying to ask some questions. But it's not just Brigitte. Now let's discuss Emmanuel Macron's biography, because it's pretty interesting. This guy. So the story goes that he, like Brigitte, was born in Amiens. Amiens is the capital town or city within the department of Somme. Okay, so in France they call these departments. I like to think of departments as states if you're from America, and so think of Amiens as the capital of the state of Somme. Amiens also has a ton of history dating back to the Middle Ages because it is the ancient capital of Picardy, which, just to be clear, that just means like northern France. I'm telling you that for a reason. Now, jumping back into his biography, I am now going to read directly from journalist Xavier Poussard's forthcoming book, which we should be announcing for you guys this week. He writes, quote, Emmanuel Macron remains a mystery to those who went to school with him. His former classmates describe him as, quote, the only one we didn't know anything about, neither where he spent his vacations nor what his parents did for a living. They describe him as a loner, not much socialized, not gathering others around him. Later, at the school, Henry IV, he stayed in the background, elusive, quote, he maintained an air of mystery, a parallel life of which we knew nothing. No one knows of any close friends among his 48 fellow students. He had a very striking chameleon-like manner, end quote.
Chameleon.
Emmanuel Macron's early life before he met Brigitte is similarly a black hole. Journalists who have tried to cover the subject have all fallen back on cross-portraits for lack of material, testimonials, photographs, etc. The information that could be gathered can be summed up in a few lines. Xavier goes on and says, born on December 21st, 1977 in Amiens, Emmanuel Macron spent his childhood on Rue Gautier de Rumilly, a street in Henryville, which is the upscale district of Amiens, in a house that was bought in 1982 by his parents. Jean-Michel Macron, a neuropsychiatrist at Amiens University Hospital from a Picard family, and Francois Nogue, that would be his mother, a pediatrician who became an expert for Social Security. I'm just going to pause before I jump into Xavier's script here, so you get the picture, okay? His dad is a psychiatrist, his mom is a doctor to children. Interesting combo. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying for right now, but I'm going to say a lot more. Her family originates from, and this is Francois Nogue, his mother, from Bagneres, and that is in the Haute-Pyrénées
and don't
region.
come back.
We'll talk about that later.
Ever.
The couple had 2 more children. So Emmanuel, born in 1977. Then came Laurent, born in 1979, his brother, and Estelle, his sister, born in 1982. All born within 5 years of one another. Both physicians before divorcing in 2010. Emmanuel Macron also has a half-brother. His name is Gabriel. He was born in 2005 from his father's second marriage to a woman named Helene Joly, also a psychiatrist at the Institute of Educational Medicine in Somme. Okay. Now, in 2017, Emmanuel Macron released his own autobiography, which was entitled Revolution. Okay? That similarly provided very few scant details about his background, and it was actually Sylvie Bamel, an independent journalist who writes for Vanity Fair. Again, we are on Reddit threads, guys. We're not on the deep web, who summed up his autobiography this way. This is what she said about his autobiography. In Revolution, Emmanuel devotes 5 pages to his maternal grandmother, only 1 to his parents, and 2 lines to his brother Laurent and his sister Estelle. Nor is there any mention of his half-brother Gabriel, born in 2005 from his father's second marriage, and even less of his father's companion Helene. Conversely, he scrupulously mentions the first names of Brigitte's 3 children and their spouses, as well as those of her 7 grandchildren. She has since had an 8th one. On the day of the inauguration, the Oziers were the only ones to tread the red carpet leading up to the Élysée Palace. Tifon and Laurence blonde, slim, and elegant, and their brother Sebastian, all accompanied by their spouses and their children. The estrangement is reciprocal. In 2014, a colleague of his brother Laurent at the hospital asked him if Macron, working with Francois Hollande at the time at the Élysée Palace, was a close relative. No, he's a vague cousin. Everyone's bugging me about this guy, replied his brother Laurent.
A vague cousin?
Maybe Laurent just didn't want to be asked about a question about a minister and just said that. Weird. Then a woman named Nicole, who is a first cousin of Emmanuel's mother,
they don't
Frances
took on
Nogue,
people's
similarly
identities.
told the reporter that she hardly ever saw Emmanuel's alleged sister Estelle. That's very weird, okay? Sylvie Baumel, again the journalist and a fair writer, reputable mainstream media, also said this. She said, quote, "I had a hard time finding Emmanuel's friends. He never talked about his family. We are hard-pressed to find any photos of his early years. When, as a grown-up, he launched his presidential campaign, many political analysts noted that his communications were inspired by Obama. Even if this is the case, he has neglected his early childhood. Anyone interested in the former United States President, Obama, can have with emotion at baby Barack in a romper suit, the chubby kid wielding his first baseball bat, the kid with 2 holes where he just lost his baby teeth. In short, watching him grow up. Our president's photo album begins in his 10th year. The shot was taken in the choir of the chapel of the La Providence School, with Emmanuel reading a passage from the Bible. Around his neck, a shiny medal worn for the first time marks the day of his baptism at age 12. Francois and Jean-Michel have a distant relationship with religion. Of course, they were married in a church to enjoy the pomp of the event and gather their families. They never considered having the baby baptized. Wow. His life starts at the age of 12 in photos? That's a bit weird.
All these people.
Here are the 3 photos she's referring to, by the way, which were widely considered to be the first known photos of Emmanuel Macron.
So this is when he appears. This is crazy.
One that she's describing from his baptism, one from his 7th grade year at Providence, and the
undocumented kids that have been trafficked and oh wow. Okay. He's probably one of those undocumented kids that was through that trafficking, probably raped and everything, because she did have those pictures that's showing him being very attracted to men. So they may not have had any. Yeah. Because it's like where they come from. How does it start at 10? That's probably when he was grabbed. Wow.
third, which is another one from his studies. It's almost like he grew up in the Providence School with Brigitte, right? Uh-oh, it's going to be a quote, and I'm going to get a letter from Emmanuel. You said he grew up in the school. That didn't happen. We're suing you for defamation. Oddly, however, I should mention that when Xavier Pissarro kept digging, he did find that there were some uncredited and seemingly unauthorized photos that appeared in, you guessed it, Paris Match, one of Mimi Marchand's favorite publications, in May of 2017.
Wait a minute. When did he say he wrote the book and that was
the PR killer,
about
so to speak,
his family?
And at baby Barack in a romper suit, the chubby kid wielding his first baseball bat, the kid with talked about his family. We are hard-pressed to find any photos of his early years. When, as a grown-up, he launched his presidential campaign, many political analysts noted that his communications were inspired by Obama.
Very little, right there.
Even if this is the case, he has neglected his early childhood. I had a hard time finding Emmanuel's friends. He never talked about his family. We are hard-pressed to find any photos of his early years. When, as a grown-up, he launched his presidential campaign, many political analysts noted that his communications were inspired by Obama. Even if this is the case, he has neglected his early childhood. Anyone interested in the former United States President, Obama, can have with emotion at baby Barack in a romper suit, the chubby kid wielding his first baseball bat, the kid with 2 holes where he just lost his baby teeth. In short, watching him grow up. Our president's photo album begins in his 10th year. The shot was taken in the choir of the chapel of the La Providence School, with Emmanuel reading a passage from the Bible. Around his neck, a shiny medal worn for the first time marks the day of his baptism at age 12. Francois and Jean-Michel have a distant relationship
because she
with
was
religion.
digging
Of course,
too far.
they were
She
married
was-
in a church to enjoy the pump of the event and gather their families. They never considered having the baby baptized. Wow. His life starts at the age of 12 in photos? That's a bit weird. Here are the 3 photos she's referring to, by the way, which were widely considered to be the first known photos of Emmanuel Macron. One that she's describing from his baptism, one from his 7th grade year at Providence, and the third, which is another one from his studies. It's almost like he grew up in
It's
the
global.
Providence school with Brigitte.
That trafficking
right? Uh-oh,
is
there's going to be a quote. I'm
global.
going to get a letter from Emmanuel. You said he grew up in the school. That didn't happen. We're suing you for defamation. Oddly, however, I
Absolutely.
should mention that when Xavier Poussard kept digging, he did find that there were some uncredited and seemingly unauthorized photos that appeared in, you guessed it, Paris Match, one of Mimi Marchand's favorite publications, in May of 2017, when we know Mimi Marchand, the
Absolutely,
PR killer,
Janet.
so to speak, figuratively, was running the comms for them. So in May of 2017, these
He was one of them
photos
kids.
appeared, and I'm going to show you those.
He was one of them kids. And that's why she was fooling with him at 14.
Okay, so we're seeing a kid. It tells us in the captions that this is Emmanuel Macron when he was 3 years old. By the way, if you guys are French and watching this, if somebody could identify those sneakers, that would be amazing. Later on in the comments, I'll get a close-up of that for you guys. I'm just curious as to what sneaker brand that is. It says he's reading Sylvester and Tweety, got this crazy blonde hair, and that one in the bottom right is supposed to be him at his father's office of medicine. And you'll notice that, again, these young photos, he's got all of these siblings. There's no photos of him with his siblings. And who authorized these photos? They're literally not credited in that magazine issue of where these photos came from. And they are never again included in any biography, whether it's autobiography, whether it's an authorized biography or an unauthorized biography. We don't get to see those photos again. Okay. So to recap, the Macron side of the family is supposed to have deep roots in Amiens. Okay, they're supposed to be Picardy. Yet when another journalist, a gay journalist named Hervé Alga-Laranda, and why I'm telling you he's gay and openly gay is not to call him out, but because don't forget a big piece of what the media says is that everybody's LGBTQ phobic. That's the reason why anybody is even saying anything about her. Well, this guy certainly is not. Okay, Hervé Alga-Laranda made what is likely the greatest effort to look into Emmanuel Macron's upbringing in his investigative book,
Something to that,
which in
Janet.
English is Two Young French Women, okay? And he similarly found some really odd things. Foremost, the former mayor of Amiens, a man's named Guy de Robian, I'm showing you him right there, who was close with the Trogneau family because Amiens is close-knit, and therefore in no way was trying to shade them or harm them in any way, said this about Emmanuel Macron. He said, Macron is not Amiennois. He is Touquetois. He's not, like, from the town of Amiens. He's, like, from Le Touquet, which is, Le Touquet is a seaside town in France. What did he mean by that? What do you mean he's a Touquetian? Is he suggesting that Macron was not from Amiens at all? Because that would be weird. Why wouldn't a city mayor in which the president of France was born in want to take full credit for his birth? Like, yes, Emmanuel Macron is from here. Maybe he just meant that he spent more of his time or the most of his time outside of the city. I don't know what he meant by this, but he said it, at least according to that book. surely they would want to claim him, right? But people even called into question Macron's interest in his own birthplace of Amiens, because from that very same book, we find out that Emmanuel Macron, quote, skipped the commemoration while he was in office of the centenary of the Battle of Amiens on August 8, 2018. The Amiens-born Macron was conspicuously absent, while Theresa May, then the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and Prince William, one of Queen Elizabeth's grandsons, were present. The older with the French in the Battle of World War I, the start of the Allies' victorious offensive. Emmanuel Macron did not attend the celebration, even though his family's birthplace, AunTeaFee, it's another city, was on the front line of another famous battle, the Battle of Somme. And the castle housed a field hospital, even though he knows full well, as he has mentioned in several speeches, that Picardy still bears the scars of the wars against Germany. Okay, maybe he was busy that day. Let's not get too crazy.
No.
Also, I should mention that before Emmanuel had entered the political scene in 2012, he had considered running for municipal office, but never in the Picardy region. Only in Pas-de-Calais, which is further north. That's the same Pas-de-Calais that Brigitte worked within as a press secretary. Maybe that's why. Maybe they were already in this affair. I'm not
who
sure.
really knew them.
And then it's just about to get outright embarrassing, okay?
Okay.
When you consider the massive blunder that gets made by President Emmanuel Macron in regards to the other side of his family roots, the Nogue, right? His mom's side. Francois Nogue is his mom. Françoise Nogue is his mom. Remember, her family traces back to the town of Haut. That is a region of Pyrenees, okay? Think of the Pyrenees Mountains. Basically, they border Spain and France. So there's a lot of different spoken languages, a few different spoken languages in that region historically. So Macron, in his presidential capacity, goes to visit Andorra in 2018, and he presents himself as a child of the Pyrenees, okay? And this exchange happens between him and a Corsican national official. His name was Xavier Luciani. And it was captured, this exchange was captured by a journalist from Express magazine. Because, you know, when presidents travel, they have like the pool of journalists that travel with them. And they're recording and they're listening to the conversations. And he's speaking to this Andorran guy. And the journalist writes that Macron said this, quote, I had great-grandparents who were Begordin, and they only spoke Pyrenean. Their sole aim in life was that my grandmother would attend a state school to learn French. Think about it, end quote. So he's opening up here. Now, we know he was close to his grandmother. He wrote the most about his grandmother in his book, The Republic, and he's saying that his grandmother, like the sole aim of her parents was for his grandmother to stop speaking Pyrenean and to go to a school and learn French, go to a state school and learn French. And he goes, think about it. Think about how amazing now. He's the president of France. And that was all his great-grandparents wanted for his beloved grandmother. And you know what? That politician did think about it, probably not for very long, because it turns out that Pyrenean is not and has never been a language. It's just amazing. That is just amazing. No, it's never been a language. They didn't know what the heck he was talking about. They're like, what are you talking about, Pyrenean? What is that? That's not a thing. People here speak a bunch of different languages, and that's not one of them. It's Occitan.
Adobe Acrobat
Oh,
Studio.
wow.
PDF spaces with AI do your marketing
This
needs
is
in
so
one spot. AI
crazy.
assistant, show me what you got. AI breakdowns on trend reports. Unlock key insights on the rise of shorts.
hurry up.
Do it all in one. Do that, doing that, did that, done.
My hunt to find the perfect matte lippy is finally over. This is the Thrive Cosmetics Sheer
This is
Strength
so
Moisturizing
bizarre.
Matte.
Catalan. Nobody speaks Pyrenean. What are you trying to say, man? So he just made up a piece of his childhood. So that was weird. That was real weird, man. Real weird to be emotionally attached to a language that never existed. Anyways, back to the journalist Hervé Alga Lorando. He tried desperately thereafter to speak to anyone in the Macron family, but they were as thick as thieves, okay? He got shot down. Then there was an official in Bigoret who gave him an idea. Okay, and the idea that came across his mind was, you know what, I want to learn about Emmanuel Macron's history. I should speak to Brigitte. Weird, right? The reason why this idea popped into his mind was that that official told him that when Emmanuel Macron had visited Bagnoret, okay, another city, out of civility, he was making conversation, and he asked Emmanuel Macron about his sister Estelle, because she lived nearby. And he says that apparently Emmanuel Macron turned to Brigitte to know what to answer.
What?
He turned to his wife to know what to answer
The
about
old lady.
his sister. I don't know about how you guys are feeling right now, but I'm starting to get a little icky feeling. It's all starting to feel a bit, I don't know, incestuous to me, you know? Like, why is she know so much, and why is he, like, more into her family? I don't know, it's very weird, right? We should probably pause there, but for fun, I am going to tease you with this photo, 2 photos. And I want you guys to know this is real. This is not made up, okay? Because next episode, we're going to get into Jean-Michel Trogneau, the sibling that has now suddenly appeared for the first time. The public is being made aware of him. And Jean-Michel Trogneau allegedly has a son, okay? Allegedly, this guy, whoever he is, Jean-Michel Trogneau, who seems to be missing, has a son named Jean-Jacques, who is not missing. Jean-Jacques is not missing. And I'm going to just give you a side-by-side of Jean-Jacques and Emmanuel Macron. Okay? And here's another one of Jean-Jacques and Emmanuel Macron. Now, these two are not related. Okay? The one on the left is allegedly Brigitte, who claims she is not Jean-Michel Trogneau. That's allegedly Brigitte's nephew. That is Jean-Michel Trogneau's son. This is not the Macron side of the family, okay? This is Brigitte. This is the Trogneau side of the family. And that's her husband. And it is just amazing. It is just amazing. But ladies and gentlemen, do not believe your own eyes. Not believe your own eyes. You know what we should do in this next episode? We have absolutely got to get into his grandma, the one who is allegedly Brigitte, who claims she is not Jean-Michel Trogneau. That's allegedly Brigitte's nephew. That is Jean-Michel Trogneau's son. This is not the Macron side of the family, okay? This is Brigitte. This is the Trogneau side of the family.
Thank you,
and that's
Janet.
her husband. And it is just amazing. It is just amazing. But ladies and gentlemen, do not believe your own eyes. Not believe your own eyes. You know what we should do in this next episode? We have absolutely got to get into his grandma, the one who at some point, I guess, must have spoke Pyrenean. I don't know, something like that. Because then things are going to start to get really interesting. And then we're going to learn a bit more about his mom, his dad, the psychiatrist, and some things that he kind of left out about them, and what kind of work were these psychiatrists and pediatricians involved in. And then maybe we're going to start patching in some ideas about what might have been going on politically at that time while he was growing up, and this is going to turn into a scary story. Cannot wait to read your questions, guys. First, I want to tell you about American financing, because a lot of Americans are carrying high credit card balances that charge 20% or more each and every month. It's time to take control of your debt. So if you're a homeowner and you have been waiting to figure...
Like a real kind of psycho kind of movie. Like these ain't the real people. Like they done took on... like... children up under the stairs type shit.
It's supposed to be nephew. I don't know. Guys. Give it to me one more time. Skylar, Chris. Have to make 2 mortgage payments. So call American Financing today. The number is 800-795-1210. Again, 800-795-1210. Again, the number financing.net/Owens. This person, I'm just looking at the people whose minds are exploding right now, looking at Brigitte's supposed to be nephew. I don't know, guys. Give it to me one more time. Skylar, Chris, give it to me one more time. Okay. Next one, show it to me again. What the... No, they're not, guys. They're not. Whatever you're thinking, I want you to know you're a far-right, crazy conspiracy theorist, Nazi child. Okay? So just stop it. Do not believe your own eyes. We will tell you what to think, okay? We are the mainstream media. This is what we do. Everybody's crazy except for us. Everybody is bad except for us. Everybody is in the business of fake news except for us. We tell the truth no matter what. Journalists today, I think, are a bit like prostitutes, right? How much How much to make you say whatever. That's how I feel, at least on the inside. Guys, I do want to mention before I read your comments, First Book Club, a lot of people were asking, you know, our website launched, and speaking of MK Ultra, oh wait, we didn't speak about MK Ultra yet. But
MK Ultra, I can't take it.
the first book we're going to be reading is Chaos, because it is like, yeah, we should learn a bit about the CIA and the secret history of the 60s, and some of those themes may be relevant as we go along with this series, learning about some government programs, which involved a lot of psychiatrists, as I would say, and learning about the Manson murders and things that were going on in America and how it all just kind of fits in. And it is interesting that he modeled himself after Obama. If you guys go back, you can find episodes that I have done about Obama, which you might find to be of interest. So the first book club meeting is going to be 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, February 11th. Again, that is 6 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday, February 11th. Guys, go to CandaceOwens.com, sign up for the book club. We're going to read books, discuss the themes in those books, and be safe from the mainstream media. Probably not. They're probably in the chat of people's doing the mind explosion, brain explosion when they see those photos. Let me scroll down here and see what we have. Leo writes, pregnant Candace is the best, Candace. We all wish you many babies in your life. Thank you for what you do. God bless. You know, I do think the media would beg to differ. I think they're like, please stop having children because you just get a little gutsy when you're growing these boys. Daphne writes, admire how smart and brave this woman is. May God always help and protect you. God bless you. I love the name Daphne, by the way. It's on the short list for girls. I only have one girl, though, and I'm just turning out all these boys, but Daphne is such a beautiful name. Sailing OK writes, hey, Candace, man fan from Canada. I like man fan. We don't want Ryan Reynolds back. What? What? You are taking Ryan Reynolds back. We will go to war. Okay, the America and Canada, if we have to go to war, we'll go to war, okay? And my country, we still got, we will, you know, what do you want? We'll meet you at the border, okay? We'll see what's up. This person also says, also I think Trudeau was involved with these sick French husbands. That is all, God bless. And it was stunning that we covered all of this sickness and perversity, and the media in France didn't think that was interesting. They weren't interested in, like, you know, pedophiles getting shorter sentences. They just sort of let the whole thing go. It was weird.
Right.
I don't know. They were mad at me for speaking about it. Very strange. I wonder why that might be.
And why?
Raquel writes on a very unrelated topic. Candy, can I call you Candy? No, you can't call me Candy, because from a time that I was could speak, my earliest memory, my mom used to say to me, "Don't ever let anyone call you Candy, because Candy is a stripper name." And it burned into my little toddler brain. I was too young, and so nobody calls me Candy. Okay, that's a lie. Except people from South America, because their accents, they say Gandhi. So if you have an accent, you can call me Gandhi, but you cannot call me Candy in a basic American accent. I want to be very clear. She goes on to ask the question, where do you shop for such beautiful, feminine, conservative clothing? I love your content, love you sharing about your faith, and I admire your bravery with God's armor. I do all of my shopping in London. So my husband and I go to London a couple times a year, obviously, because he is from there, and they have such cute boutiques. I absolutely cannot stand large department stores. I feel overwhelmed, so there's just a boutique that I love, and that's where I get the majority of my clothing. And when I'm pregnant, I don't really shop for pregnancy clothes. This is like a very old shirt. I don't know where it's from at all, but I can't fit many of my clothes right now because my belly is expanding. Elders of Zion, comment below. Please read the Protocols of Elders of Zion, 1903, from an insider into the Zionist plot to take over nations, as you can see with AIPAC today and anti-Semitism laws. Okay, thank you. Dabert Sanchez writes, we love this series, Candace, praying for your safety always, love from Montreal. And Sam writes, every time you talk about Brigitte, I think of Simon Nala when he says, should I call you Mr.? Oh yeah, the guy who says, why are you gay? You are gay. It's a really funny clip, because it's just so African, in that so many of this stuff is the stuff that we're dealing with today is like first world, symptoms of the first world, where we've just gotten so advanced that we're basically behind. And then you go to Africa and they're like, what are you talking about? What is wrong with you guys? Very funny. why I really enjoy
Photo
Africans. If you
enhancement
haven't
thing.
yet, you should really go back and watch my
Yeah, but I don't.
episode
If they
with the two Nigerian
they've been
brothers
MK Ultra
explaining to me how they
and
helped
brainwashed,
Jesse
it's
Smollett
like
execute
almost
the
like
hate
they've
crime
been
against
cloned.
himself. I mean, it is just joy, so much joy felt during that interview. I can't even explain it. You guys know I love Nigerians. And that is it. That is all of the comments that we have for today,
Okay,
you guys.
y'all, that's it.
So we will pick this up at a
Yeah,
later.
we will pick up later on for me too. Whew, Lord, I hope I am caught up. Okay, good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the shim bug bite. Don't let the what bite? The shim. Good night. Sleep tight. Don't let the shim bug bite. We don't know what he is, but he look awfully manly to me. Shim. The him. The him. Shim. Shim got long blonde hair with some mighty wrinkles and a man look in the face. Shim. Look real manly. Shim. We will pick up where we stopped. But I want to tell you something, Shim. You better leave Candace Owens alone. You two men, Mr. and Mr. Macron, trying to manhandle a little old woman. Shim. Mr. and Mr. President and First Man. Stand up in that in which you are. Shim. Shim. Yeah. Mr. and Mr. Macron. Embrace it. What you hiding for? Huh? What's the problem? Shim. Shim. I told y'all I was sleepy. First man. President and First Man. Macron. That's it. Yeah. They need to write the book that says Mr. and Mr. President and First Man. We made history here in France. Never, and I do mean never, ever have you seen a couple like us. Oh, Lord. Typically, it's the man who likes a younger woman. Not in this case. Mr. Shim groomed a child in high school. Married him 20, 30, 40 years later. Becoming the first Mr. President and Mr. Man. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. I don't know why they be faking and shaking and acting like they're against that same sex relationships. Why are they acting like they anti-trans? Knowing good and damn well him's a him's a him. Yeah, if y'all wouldn't be so judgmental and let these people be whom with they may, you wouldn't have to be faking and shaking, lying, scheming and gaming and grabbing folks' kids and turning them out and manipulating their mind. And what's wrong with you people? Y'all sick, and sick could be y'all want us to believe that y'all ain't wrapped up in all the devil schemes. You crazy. You crazy. If you don't think that we know y'all playing with the devil. Woo, they playing in games with the devil. You better get up out the devil's playpen. Thank you. Thank you. Is it Amelia? Thank you for laughing, Disco. We laughing in their face. Because they thought they pulled the wool over our eyes. And we see straight through. Take that wig off your head, shim shim him. Take it off. And show who you really are. That's what the devil do. He comes in many disguises. Look at you. I'm looking you in your eyes, devil. Dorothy. What, Jody? Yank that wig up off your head. Come out. Come out. Come out. Come out. Satan, you got to come out of darkness. Come into the light. Look at you. I know you know we know you're a man, him, shim. What is the problem? Oh my God. I'm going to leave you alone for now. But we going to pick up tomorrow. Well, later on today. Later on. Yeah, later. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Lord. You need a whole bunch of work done. Because you look manly. Oh, my God. This has got to be a movie. This some of that, what's his name? The Bates Hotel, Norman Bates type stuff. This is crazy. This is crazy. And y'all done put a hit out on her because she got too damn close. Yeah, she done got close because, I done pulled out that, oh boy, he was one of them kids. And he was grabbed and yanked, or he came over to your country at the age around 8, 9, or 10. And if he only had pictures at 10, you started fooling with him at 14. 14, not 14. 14. Thank you, Black QW. Those images of him. After a workout, those muscles just ain't natural. Him. All of that just looks strong in the face. Ain't nothing feminine about you. Him, shim. Yeah, that's why they don't have nothing for that child when he was younger. You can only start at 10, and you started fooling with him at 14. At 14, you was all he knew. You was all he knew. Him, shim. You ought to be shaming yourself. Y'all got him at 9 or 10. At 14, he was in love with you. And then you go try to make yourself be super a pent up, sexy cover. I mean centerpiece. Yeah, like oh Lord, oh groomed him. Absolutely, Jody. Hey, hi Jody, Jamie. Hi Jamie. Yeah. Picture started. His existence started at 10. They was in love at 14. He was in love with his teacher at 14. Hell, for 4 years, how a 14-year-old in love with a teacher? Yeah, she popped out today. I played it earlier. Let me leave on us hearing her voice. Let's end on us hearing her voice. She definitely popped out the day after Thanksgiving. Let me show y'all. Y'all please hit the like button, like, share, and subscribe. Join the membership. Join the membership. Here's her voice.
All right, we are doing day after Thanksgiving steaks, obviously with Riverbend Ranch. So I'll let you guys see what these look like when they come off the grill.
So yes, indeed, she popped out today and she's okay.
All right, we are doing day after Thanksgiving steaks, obviously with Riverbend Ranch. So I'll let you guys see what these look like when they come off.
She let us hear her voice. That is definitely her voice. And she stamped the date. Now she didn't show no face. She showed them steaks that she talks about. So she gave us a little bit of something to know that she was okay. And it was the day after Thanksgiving. Thank God. We're going to take that and count it joy. Amen. And again, T-Sippers, we are going to start rebuking Trump and his regime. We're going to start rebuking them, and we're going to rebuke them and call them what they are. I hope nothing bad will happen. I pray that she's covered, protected. I pray that as well. Okay, y'all, good night. Go to sleep. I'm sleepy. I'm stopped up. And peace until next time. Bye.